Chapter 2058. In the following 20 days, Duan Lingtian thought Dong Yuanjin, the vice hall master of the enforcement hall, would come looking for trouble with him. However, he discovered that Dong Yuanjin's father was not around. Dong Yuanjin was not the only one who did not do anything. Even his son, Dong Lin, did not do anything as well. The news didn't spread. It seems like the Bronze Flame elders who were present that day were pressured by Tian Dong and Dong Yuanjin, so they didn't dare to spread the news. Duan Lingtian finally figured out the reason. If this had happened 20 days ago, perhaps Duan Lingtian would have spread the news that he had humiliated Dong Lin. After all, he was very dissatisfied with Dong Lin and had suppressed his anger. However, now that Duan Lingtian had calmed down, he no longer had the leisure to do so. Naturally, it was also because he would be leaving the enforcement hall the next day. He planned to leave Zoroastrianism after leaving the enforcement hall and look for a suitable place to improve his innate spiritual roots so that he could improve his cultivation base as soon as possible. Kerr and their daughter might be in danger at any time. There was not much time left for him. To him, wasting even a little bit of time was equivalent to risking Kerr and their daughter's lives. I can finally leave. On the second day, Duan Lingtian's duty in the enforcement hall ended. He could finally leave the enforcement hall. He had been waiting for this day for a month. At the same time, the next batch of true disciples who had accepted their duty in the enforcement hall arrived at the main hall of the enforcement hall. "Why, your senior brother Lingtian?" When Duan Lingtian was talking to one of the true disciples, the true disciple recognized Duan Lingtian. He could not help but feel excited. Currently, many disciples of Zoroastrianism viewed Duan Lingtian as their idol. Duan Lingtian had only joined Zoroastrianism for less than a year, but he had become a true disciple of Zoroastrianism and was ranked 4th on the Zoroastrianism True ranking. One should know the top 3 on the True ranking were at the 3rd form of the Saint's celestial stage. For Duan Lingtian to be ranked 4th on the True ranking, this meant he was widely acknowledged as the strongest true disciple below the 3rd form of the Saint's celestial stage in the Zoroastrianism. Apart from that, there was another important point. Duan Lingtian was currently ranked at the 537th place on the Supreme Saint ranking. He was ranked at the top among the Bronze Flame elders and true disciples at the 2nd form of the Saint's celestial stage in the Zoroastrianism. For all these reasons, Duan Lingtian had become the most popular prodigy in Zoroastrianism. Duan Lingtian nodded and smiled when he saw the excited true disciple. "From today onward, you'll be in charge of the position that I was previously in charge of. I'll definitely do my best," the true disciple said confidently when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. After the other true disciples who had joined Duan Lingtian a month ago handed over their jobs, they left the main hall of the enforcement hall with Duan Lingtian. Although they left together, Duan Lingtian acted as though he did not know Lu Yun at all. It was as though they were strangers. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, both of them had severed ties with each other. "Junior brother Lingtian, I heard you gave Dong Lin a good beating and even beat him into a pig's head. Is that true?" Lu Yun's voice suddenly resonated in Duan Lingtian's ears. It was none other than Lu Yun's voice transmission. Although both of them pretended to sever ties with each other, Lu Yun could not help but communicate with Duan Lingtian through voice transmission. As soon as he opened his mouth, he asked Duan Lingtian about the incident where he beat up Dong Lin. "Senior brother Lu Yun, where did you hear about this?" Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard Lu Yun's question. He could not help but ask through voice transmission. As far as Duan Lingtian knew, this news was kept a secret. He was rather surprised that Lu Yun knew about this. "I heard it from my great-grandfather. It said that a Bronze Flame elder who was present at the scene revealed it to him," Lu Yun replied. Lu Yun replied in a timely manner. At the same time, he said, "However, he also asked me not to spread this matter. Could it be true?" "Yes, it's true," Duan Lingtian replied through voice transmission before he continued. "That day, Dong Lin brought Tian Dong to look for me and wanted to teach me a lesson. However, Tian Dong did not dare to make a move on me due to my verbal threat. He allowed me to teach Dong Lin a lesson." Duan Lingtian's words sounded nonchalant. However, to Lu Yun, it was like a bell that rang loudly in his ears. He was stunned. Tiandong? Naturally, he was familiar with this name. Tiandong was the first Silver Flame Elder in the Enforcement Hall. He was ranked 107th on the Supreme Saint ranking. Such a person did not dare to make a move on junior brother Ling Tian because he was threatened by Ling Tian. Lu Yun was stunned. After a long while, Lu Yun regained his senses. He inhaled sharply before he continued to ask, "Junior brother Ling Tian, as far as I know, Tiandong is not only the first Silver Flame Elder in the Enforcement Hall, but he's also not a gentle person. How did you threaten him to not make a move on you?" "Actually, it's nothing much," Duan Ling Tian said nonchalantly. "I saw that he wanted to help Dong Lin teach me a lesson. I said that if he dared to touch me as long as I didn't die, I'd look for his children and direct disciples to spar with him." "That's nothing much." Lu Yun was speechless when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He had used Dong Lin's children and direct disciples to threaten him. How could that be nothing? Although Duan Lingtian's family should not be implicated, Lu Yun did not think Duan Lingtian was in the wrong. After all, Tiandong was the one who had gone too far. If Tiandong did not want to help Dong Lin teach his junior brother Ling Tian a lesson, would his junior brother Ling Tian have threatened him? What happened after that? Did Vice Hall Master Dong look for trouble with you? Lu Yun's tone turned solemn when he mentioned Dong Yuanjin, the Vice Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall. Dong Yuanjin was ruthless. Otherwise, Lu Yun would not have acted in such a manner. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Perhaps he felt his son was in the wrong. Moreover, news of this matter hasn't spread, so he didn't look for trouble with me. He felt his son was in the wrong. Lu Yun could not help but laugh when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. At the same time, he continued to speak through voice transmission. "Junior brother Ling Tian, Vice Hall Master Dong treats Dong Lin as his life. He might not have made a move on you for now, but I'm sure he'll make a move on you sooner or later. Perhaps he's looking for a good opportunity to deal a fatal blow to you. You must not leave the Zoroastrianism for now so that Dong Yuanjin won't have an opportunity to take advantage of you." Lu Yun warned Duan Lingtian again and again when he reached the end of his sentence. His tone was as solemn as it could be. All right. Although Duan Lingtian agreed readily, he was inwardly noncommittal since he had already made up his mind to leave the fire worship sect. If he did not leave the Zoroastrianism, he would not be able to improve his innate spiritual root at all. Currently, his innate spiritual root was already a blue innate spiritual root, so it was much more difficult for him to improve his innate spiritual root. It was not realistic for him to improve his innate spiritual root under the Zoroastrianism. "I've got it." At this moment, a thought appeared in Duan Lingtian's mind as he thought of a way to leave the Zoroastrianism. Once he used this method, he was certain Dong Yuanjin, the Vice Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall, and Lian, the Black Turtle Sanctum's first Silver Flame Elder, would not know he had left the Zoroastrianism. However, he would need someone to help him with this method. Soon after, a figure appeared in Duan Lingtian's mind. If he's willing to help, let alone Lian, even Dong Yuanjin won't suspect him. Duan Lingtian sighed in relief when he thought of a way to leave the Zoroastrianism. After leaving the Enforcement Hall, they approached the central square of the Saint Island. The 8 true disciples who came with Duan Lingtian and Lu Yun dispersed one after another. Some of them went to the central square while the rest went to other places. Only one true disciple continued to walk with Duan Lingtian and Lu Yun out of the Saint Island. It was obvious he was going to return to his residence. "Junior brother Lingtian, I'll go look for brother Mu. I'm sure he must have heard about the severing of ties between us. I'll explain it to him so he won't misunderstand." After Lu Yun bade farewell to Duan Lingtian, he turned around and made his way to the residence of the Saint Land disciples before disappearing in just a blink of an eye. At this moment, only one true disciple was left with Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian. When Duan Lingtian was about to leave the Saint Island and return to his residence, a thunderous voice sounded from the central square again. Duan Lingtian instinctively came to a halt and frowned. He was certain this was his first time hearing this person's voice. This was enough to prove he had never heard this person speak before. And it was this kind of person who, when calling out his name, was extremely impolite, aggressive, and full of hostility. "Who's that?" Duan Lingtian was still wondering who the owner of the voice was when he saw two figures flying toward the central square. In the direction of the central square, two figures stepped into the air and flew towards him with long tails behind them. With just a glance, Duan Lingtian recognized one of the two figures. Wen Yan. Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. He did not expect one of the two figures to be Wen Yan. However, Duan Lingtian merely glanced at Wen Yan indifferently before his eyes shifted to the young man next to her. Was that his voice earlier? Duan Lingtian studied the young man from top to bottom. He was certain this was his first time seeing this person. Senior brother Bu Hong. At this moment, the true disciple who was standing near Duan Lingtian from the enforcement hall also recognized the young man next to Wen Yan. After he exclaimed in surprise, he quickly moved to the side to keep a distance from Duan Lingtian. Chapter 2059. Bu Hong? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he heard the true disciple's words. Although he had never met this person before, he had heard of this person more than once. Bu Hong was a true disciple who was ranked second on the true ranking. He had broken through to the third form of the Saint Celestial stage a few years ago. He was one of the pillars among the true disciples of the Zoroastrianism. Apart from that, he was also ranked second among the 8 great young prodigies of the Zoroastrianism. Apart from that, he was also the direct disciple of the sanctum leader of the Azure Dragon Sanctum, one of the 4 symbols sanctums of the Zoroastrianism. He was also the senior brother of Wen Yan, who was ranked 9th on the true ranking in the past. The reason it was mentioned in the past was because after Duan Lingtian had entered the 4th place on the true ranking, he had caused the people ranked 4th to 9th on the true ranking to drop by a rank. As for the person who was ranked 10th on the true ranking, he was directly disqualified from the true ranking. Currently, Wen Yan was ranked 10th on the true ranking. She was the gatekeeper of the true ranking. She could be replaced at any time. The second on the true ranking? The third form of the Saint Celestial stage? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he found out the young man next to Wen Yan was Bu Hong. He could tell the young man had come with ill intentions. It was obvious the young man was here to avenge Wen Yan. Duan Lingtian was mentally prepared for this. I didn't expect Bu Hong to return while I was on duty in the enforcement hall. Duan Lingtian realized Bu Hong must have returned to the Zoroastrianism not long ago. Otherwise, he would not have waited until now to look for trouble with him. Senior brother, he's Duan Lingtian. From afar, Wen Yan could not help but point at Duan Lingtian as she said to Bu Hong, who was standing next to her, "That day, he was the one who gave me a few slaps in public and made me lose all my face. It doesn't matter if I'm humiliated, but the way he treated me not only humiliated me, but also humiliated senior brother and master." Those who don't know might think that senior martial brother can't protect junior martial sister, and that master can't protect his own personal disciple. As Wen Yan spoke, she cried and complained to Bu Hong, who was beside her, in an attempt to infuriate him even more. "Don't worry, junior sister. With senior brother here today, I'll definitely get justice for you." Hearing Wen Yan's tearful complaint, Bu Hong looked at her dotingly. When he shifted his gaze from Wen Yan to Duan Lingtian, who was standing in the distance, a cold, killing intent flashed in his eyes as though he was about to devour someone. Reality proved that Wen Yan's crying was useful. She had successfully provoked Bu Hong's wrath. In the entire Zoroastrianism, the 2 most important people to Bu Hong were his junior martial sister, Wen Yan, and his master. At this moment, the true disciple named Duan Lingtian standing in the distance had not only humiliated his junior martial sister in public, but he had also indirectly slapped his master's face. How could he not be angry? The group of Saint Lan disciples following behind Bu Hong and Wen Yan naturally came to watch the show out of boredom. Earlier, Bu Hong's earth-shattering shout had, naturally, alerted them. When they recalled Duan Lingtian had left the enforcement hall today, they knew there would be a good show to watch. Senior brother Bu Hong seems to be very angry. How can he not be angry? Senior martial sister Wen Yan is his only junior martial sister. It's no wonder he's angry after being humiliated by Duan Lingtian. That's right. If it wasn't for the fact that senior brother Bu Hong wasn't in Zoroastrianism, he would have gone to look for senior brother Duan Lingtian. With senior brother Duan Lingtian's current strength, I'm afraid he's not strong enough to deal with senior brother Bu Hong. Of course. Senior brother Bu Hong is ranked second on the true ranking in Zoroastrianism. His cultivation base has already broken through to the third form of the Saint Celestial stage a few years ago. How can Duan Lingtian, who's ranked fourth on the true ranking, be compared to him? It seems like Duan Lingtian is going to be unlucky today. Perhaps his innate talent is not bad, but I'm afraid his current strength is far from being a match for senior brother Bu Hong. The group of Saint Lan disciples who followed Bu Hong and Wen Yen to watch the show did not think Duan Lingtian would win. Naturally, there were a few people who disagreed. If I'm not mistaken, in the past, whether it was senior brother Duan Lingtian facing Yang Wen or Wen Yen, all of you seemed to think Duan Lingtian was inferior to them. What happened in the end? That's right. All of you were humiliated by senior brother Duan Lingtian every time. I admit that I used to look down on senior brother Duan Lingtian. However, every time something happened, I would feel embarrassed. It was as though someone had humiliated me. Senior brother Duan Lingtian isn't someone who can be judged with common sense. No matter who you think highly of this time, I'm certain senior brother Duan Lingtian will win. So what if he's a powerhouse at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage? He'll still be defeated. Although these few voices were supporting Duan Lingtian, due to the small number of people, their voices were drowned out by the voices of the other people. It was as if they did not exist at all. Even more people felt that Duan Lingtian was destined to be unlucky to encounter Bu Hong. At the same time, Bu Hong and Wen Yen stood side by side near Duan Lingtian. They stood in the air as they faced Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, do you still remember how you humiliated me that day? Wen Yen, who was staring coldly at Duan Lingtian, took the initiative to ask in a deep voice. Humiliated? What humiliated? Duan Lingtian asked calmly in the face of Wen Yan's overbearing words. As he spoke, it was as if he was talking about something unimportant. Wen Yen was so angry that her expression changed immediately. She said coldly, Duan Lingtian, you're a man. Don't tell me you don't dare to admit what you've done? Admit what? Duan Lingtian continued to say calmly, don't tell me you want to say that I humiliated you? Don't tell me you didn't? Wen Yan's gaze turned cold. Her tone was so cold that it made people feel as though they had fallen into an ice cave. Don't tell me you've forgotten how you slapped me a few times in public that day? Don't tell me you don't think that's considered a humiliation? Wen Yan's expression turned ugly when she took the initiative to bring up the past. In the end, it even became twisted and ferocious. It was obvious how angry Wen Yen was now. Oh, so you're talking about that. I almost forgot about it if you didn't mention it. After hearing Wen Yan's words, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized something. He said calmly, when I slapped you a few times in public that day, I didn't have any intention of humiliating you. Duan Lingtian paused for a while before he said, you're not worthy of being humiliated by me, Wen Yen. I only slapped you a few times because I don't like you. That's all. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Wen Yen was so angry that her face turned red. She was at a loss for words for a long time. The group of Saint Lan disciples who came to watch the show broke out in an uproar as well. All of them had a shocked expression on their faces. Isn't Duan Lingtian a little too insolent? He actually said Wen Yen isn't worthy of being humiliated by him? Doesn't he know the person standing next to Wen Yen is senior brother Bu Hong? Look, senior brother Bu Hong's expression has darkened. Senior brother Bu Hong must not have expected Duan Lingtian to be so arrogant in front of him. However, this is enough to prove that Duan Lingtian really doesn't recognize senior brother Bu Hong. I'm afraid Duan Lingtian still doesn't know he's kicked an iron plate. As the disciples of the Saint Lans began to cause a ruckus, Bu Hong's expression became even more unsightly. It was so dark that it seemed as though water could drip from his face. You're Duan Lingtian, right? Bu Hong's eyes flashed with killing intent as he stared at Duan Lingtian. He was like a venomous snake that would pounce at any moment. However, Duan Lingtian ignored Bu Hong's question. Instead, he looked at Wen Yen and said indifferently, Wen Yen, do you think you don't have to be afraid of me anymore now that you have a helper? So what if I do? Wen Yan did not expect Duan Lingtian would dare to ignore her senior brother. Although she was excited, she replied coldly to Duan Lingtian. The reason why she was excited was because she discovered that her senior brother Bu Hong's anger had risen even further. All of this was Duan Lingtian's fault. Duan Lingtian actually dared to disregard her senior brother. He was simply seeking death. Duan Lingtian laughed when he received Wen Yan's confirmation. However, Duan Lingtian only laughed for a while before he retracted his smile. His gaze suddenly turned cold as his figure flashed out. Under Wen Yan's unguarded state, he swiftly charged towards her in a menacing manner. Let me tell you something. Even if your senior brother is by your side, I, Duan Lingtian, can slap you if I want to. When Duan Lingtian charged toward Wen Yan at lightning speed, his voice resonated in the air, shocking everyone present on the scene. You're seeking death. Bu Hong was stunned for a moment before he regained his senses. His expression changed drastically as he charged toward Duan Lingtian. It was obvious he wanted to stop Duan Lingtian from making a move on Wen Yan. Slap. However, the crisp sound of a slap rang in the air. Half of Wen Yan's face was swollen again. Bu Hong did not make it in time to save her. The Saint Lan disciples present on the scene were dumbfounded. They did not expect Duan Lingtian would be so arrogant. Duan Lingtian actually dared to act so boldly in front of Bu Hong, who was ranked second on the true ranking. He slapped Wen Yan so hard that half of her face was swollen in front of Bu Hong. Gasp, 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 gasp. Most of the Saint Lan disciples present on the scene could not help but gasp. Many Saint Lan disciples looked at Duan Lingtian with a hint of pity in their eyes. A furious voice rang in the air as the group of Saint Lan disciples shifted their attention to Bu Hong, who was moving at lightning speed. Chapter 2060. When Bu Hong was only a foot away from Duan Lingtian, a vast energy surged out like a giant beast with its mouth wide open in an attempt to devour Duan Lingtian. Elementary devouring tactic. Black Turtle's barrier. In just an instant, the Sun Saint energy that had been accumulating in Duan Lingtian's body surged out and formed a whirlpool that devoured the heaven and earth spirit energy in the surroundings, causing his Sun Saint energy to skyrocket. Following that, the skyrocketing Sun Saint energy spread out and formed a gigantic black turtle's silhouette around Duan Lingtian's body. Although it was only a silhouette, it was extremely sturdy. It was formed by Duan Lingtian's Sun Saint energy. This technique was the #1 defensive divine ability of Zoroastrianism, the Black Turtle's barrier. Boom, 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 boom. The moment the Black Tortoise's shield appeared, the boundless power from Bu Hong landed heavily on the Black Tortoise's silhouette, causing a series of rumbles that sounded like endless thunder. When the thunderous booms resounded in the air, the space around the Black Turtle's silhouette began to tremble. Bush, 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 bush. Water-like ripples gradually spread out, setting off waves of wild winds that blew the robes of the surrounding onlookers, causing them to flutter. Many Saint Lan disciples who were standing close to the scene even had their headbands and hairpins broken by the wind. Their hair that had lost its restraint was like a wild horse that had broken free of its reins as it charged toward Feng Qingyang. Under the watchful eyes of the others, the Black Turtle's silhouette around Duan Lingtian's body shattered under Bu Hong's attack. Naturally, it still managed to hold on for quite some time. A powerhouse at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage is really extraordinary. Duan Lingtian could not help but praise Bu Hong inwardly when his divine ability, the Black Turtle's barrier, was destroyed. In fact, his current cultivation base was no longer at the early exemplary saint stage like before he joined the enforcement hall. In this 1 month, he had made 2 breakthroughs and raised his cultivation base to the mastery exemplary saint stage. After his cultivation base had been elevated to the mastery exemplary saint stage, his Sun Saint energy had also been elevated to the mastery quintessential saint stage. Coupled with the divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, his Sun Saint energy was comparable to the saint origin of an ordinary powerhouse at the first form of the Saint Celestial stage. In addition, his divine ability, Black Tortoise's barrier, had also made a breakthrough in the past month. Compared to the past, The strength of the defense was incomparable. However, even so, he could not block Bu Hong's furious attack. Of course, Duan Lingtian knew that this was not Bu Hong's true strength. Bu Hong had yet to use his saint weapon. 10,000 Swords Territory. When Bu Hong destroyed his divine ability, the Black Turtle's barrier, Duan Lingtian instantly consolidated his 10,000 Swords Territory. Swoosh! The 10,000 Swords Territory shrouded Duan Lingtian and Bu Hong. The dazzling golden territory blocked the sight of the Saint Lan disciples, including Wen Yen, who had retreated to the distance. They could not see what was going on inside at all. Territory. When Bu Hong was shrouded by Duan Lingtian's territory, he could not help but smirk disdainfully. His saint origin vibrated before it transformed into an armor made of pure saint origin. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Tens of thousands of golden sword rays shot out from Duan Lingtian's 10,000 Swords Territory. After destroying Bu Hong's attack, the golden sword rays continued to land on Bu Hong's body. However, they could not even penetrate Bu Hong's armor. A defensive divine ability? Upon seeing this, Duan Lingtian could not help but narrow his eyes when he realized Bu Hong had cast a defensive divine ability. Moreover, this defensive divine ability was not simple. It should not be an intermediate-grade defensive divine ability. Duan Lingtian, although my defensive divine ability is not as good as your defensive divine ability, the Black Turtle's barrier, it's still a high-grade defensive divine ability. Your territory isn't strong enough to break my defense. Bu Hong said coldly, I have to admit that you're quite strong. Unfortunately, you've met me, Bu Hong. Even if I can't kill or cripple you due to the sex rules today, I'll still humiliate you in front of everyone and make you wish you were dead. Not only will I slap you 1,000 times, but I'll also make you crawl between my legs. A hint of coldness could be heard in Bu Hong's voice when he said this. I'd like to see how you, Duan Lingtian, will be able to hold your head up high in the Zoroastrianism when that time comes. This is the price you have to pay for humiliating my junior sister and attacking her in front of me. Bu Hong's words made it seem as though he was certain he would defeat Duan Lingtian. Give me 1,000 slaps? You'll make me crawl between your legs? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he heard Bu Hong's words. A cold light flashed in his eyes. At this moment, a wave of killing intent rose from Duan Lingtian's body. It was directed at Bu Hong. Then, I'd like to see if you, Bu Hong, have the ability to do that. Duan Lingtian's voice turned colder at this moment, causing the temperature in the surroundings to drop by a few degrees. I'll let you see it right away. Bu Hong sneered when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Then, Saint Origin surged out of his body. Blood chi could be vaguely seen emanating from his body as he prepared to cast the divine ability of the Azure Dragon Sanctum, one of the 4 symbols sanctums of Zoroastrianism. The divine ability of the Azure Dragon Sanctum was similar to the inherited divine ability of the dragons, the true body Berserk transformation. After the Berserk transformation, regardless of whether it was one's strength or speed, it would be greatly enhanced. Naturally, the aftereffects were not small. You don't have a chance anymore. Duan Lingtian said coldly when Bu Hong was preparing to cast the divine ability of the Azure Dragon Sanctum. His tone was firm as though he was the judge of this battle. In the next moment, Bu Hong cast the divine ability of the Azure Dragon Sanctum. Blood chi emanated from his body as the effect of the divine ability was about to be cast on him. All of a sudden, at this critical moment, swoosh, the sound of a sword whistling in the air rang in Bu Hong's ears like a ghost. It caused him to feel a chill in his heart, causing him to be distracted. For this reason, the effect of the divine ability of the Azure Dragon Sanctum did not appear on him in time. Slash. At the same time, Bu Hong felt excruciating pain in his arms and legs as though something had pierced through them. The third form of the Saint Celestial stage was also known as the Spiritual Eyes form. Once one broke through to the third form of the Saint Celestial stage, not only would one's saint origin improve, but one's eyes would also transform into the spiritual eyes. The spiritual eyes granted a powerhouse at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage the ability to see through everything. Bu Hong calmed down when he felt the excruciating pain in several places on his body. He narrowed his eyes and saw a ridiculously fast sword shadow returning to Duan Lingtian's side and disappearing into the air. From the beginning until the end, Bu Hong could only see the afterimage of the sword shadow. He could not see what kind of sword it was at all. Although Bu Hong could not see the sword clearly, he could vaguely sense it was extraordinary. *T. When Bu Hong's attention shifted to the sword, a flash suddenly appeared before his eyes. It was Duan Lingtian with a pair of golden flaming wings on his back. He appeared in front of him at an extremely fast speed. He instinctively wanted to make a move, but he felt excruciating pain in his arms and legs, causing his movements to slow down. At this moment, he realized he was injured. Moreover, his injuries were quite serious. Soul attack? As soon as Duan Lingtian appeared in front of Bu Hong saw a ray of light in the shape of a divine dragon shooting out of Duan Lingtian's left eye. In just a blink of an eye, the ray of light pierced Bu Hong's glabella and headed for his soul. Although Bu Hong's soul was strong and could easily withstand Duan Lingtian's soul attack, he was still shocked by Duan Lingtian's attack. At the same time, the armor on Bu Hong's body that was formed by a high-grade defensive divine ability dimmed a little. Boom! At this moment, Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold as he swung his palm out. The sound of wind and thunder could be heard in the air as it landed on Bu Hong's armor. Crack! Bu Hong's armor shattered instantly. Following that, Duan Lingtian's palm landed on Bu Hong's head, knocking him out. Walao, is there anyone with a cultivation base at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage outside my territory? Duan Lingtian immediately contacted Hua Lao, who was in the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda, and asked anxiously. A hint of anxiety could be seen in Duan Lingtian's eyes when he asked Hua Lao. No. Hua Lao replied after a while. Duan Lingtian sighed in relief when he heard Hua Lao's reply. Then, he looked at Bu Hong, who had fainted and was still in his hand. Hua Lao, help me devour his innate spiritual root. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up as he spoke. Apart from being a true disciple who was ranked second on the true ranking for Zoroastrianism, Bu Hong was also ranked at the 421st place on the Supreme Saint ranking. Since he was a true disciple, he could be considered as one of the younger generation of Zoroastrianism since he was still young. As the number 2 prodigy of Zoroastrianism, Bu Hong's innate talent in the martial Tao was extraordinary. Moreover, he possessed an indigo innate spiritual root. Duan Lingtian had heard about this before. Chapter 2061. If I can devour Bu Hong's innate spiritual root. Even if my innate spiritual root doesn't become indigo, it'll still be able to transform into a dark blue innate spiritual root. Duan Lingtian's eyes shone brightly as he looked at Bu Hong in his hand. At that time, my innate spiritual root will only be a step away from becoming an indigo innate spiritual root. The moment he thought of this, Duan Lingtian felt a surge of excitement in his heart. With Hua Lao's help, Duan Lingtian cast the elementary devouring tactic and devoured Bu Hong's innate spiritual root to strengthen his own innate spiritual root. Earlier, he had asked Hua Lao to check if there was anyone at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage spying on them. This was because people at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage could see through his 10,000 swords territory with their spiritual eyes. If someone could see through his 10,000 swords territory, it would be inconvenient for him to devour Bu Hong's innate spiritual root. Since there was no one at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage spying on them, there was nothing for him to worry about. Soon after, Duan Lingtian devoured the unconscious Bu Hong's innate spiritual root. As expected, Bu Hong's innate spiritual root had transformed into a dark blue innate spiritual root. He was only a step away from becoming an indigo innate spiritual root. I didn't expect to gain so much before leaving Zoroastrianism. I feel like I only need to devour 1 or 2 green innate spiritual roots to transform my innate spiritual root into an indigo innate spiritual root after I leave Zoroastrianism. Duan Lingtian's heart raced when he thought of this. It took a long time for him to calm down. Bu Hong, you can only blame yourself for being blind. I hope you won't go crazy when you realize you've become a cripple. Duan Ling Tian said indifferently as he glanced at Bu Hong who was in his hand. Duan Ling Tian did not feel guilty about devouring Bu Hong's innate spiritual root. Bu Hong wanted him to crawl between his legs, right? Then he would cripple his martial talent. In the Tao martial saint land, a person without an innate spiritual root was equivalent to being a piece of trash. It would be difficult for him to improve his cultivation base. At the same time, Duan Ling Tian withdrew his 10,000 swords domain. After Duan Ling Tian withdrew his 10,000 swords territory, he reappeared in front of the Saint Land's disciples, including Wen Yan. The latter's eyes widened in shock when they saw him. This was because the scene before them was simply too shocking. Duan Ling Tian was not only safe and sound, but he was also carrying Bu Hong. Bu Hong seemed to have fainted. Moreover, Bu Hong's forelimbs were still bleeding. It was obvious that he had suffered serious injuries. In an instant, most of the Holy Ground's disciples were dumbfounded. Shock and disbelief filled their faces, and they couldn't recover from their shock for a long time. Senior brother. Wen Yan was the first to regain her senses. Horror dawned on her face when she regained her senses. Her voice trembled as she asked Duan Ling, what did you do to my senior brother? Don't worry. Duan Ling Tian glanced at Wen Yan indifferently and said calmly, just your senior brother's life isn't enough for me to violate the sex rules and exchange my life for his. He has merely fainted. However, if no one helps him stop the bleeding, he might die from excessive blood loss. When Duan Ling Tian reached the end of his sentence, he raised his hand and tossed Bu Hong to Wen Yan as though he was throwing trash. Wen Yan, naturally, hurriedly reached out to catch him. After confirming Bu Hong was still alive, she hastily helped him stop the bleeding. It would be fine if Bu Hong was already dead. However, the problem was Bu Hong was still alive. If he died from blood loss in her hands, it would be her responsibility. She could not bear this responsibility. Second on the true ranking? Ranked 421st on the Supreme Saint ranking? At the same time, Duan Ling Tian looked at Bu Hong who was in Wen Yan's hands with disdain as he said disdainfully, that's all there is to it. After saying that, Duan Ling Tian left the area and returned to his residence without looking back. After Duan Ling Tian left, the group of Saint Land disciples who were present finally regained their senses. Oh my God! Senior brother Bu Hong was seriously injured by Duan Ling Tian and even fainted? One of the Holy Land's elite disciples swallowed hard and said with some difficulty, I'm not dreaming, right? As soon as the Saint Land elite disciple finished speaking, his companion raised his hand and gave him a slap. Then, he looked at the Saint Land elite disciple who was glaring at him and asked innocently, does it hurt? He immediately raised his hand and slapped his companion's ear as he asked angrily, does it hurt? It hurts. His companion was on the verge of tears. He said with an aggrieved expression on his face, it seems like I'm just like you. I'm not dreaming. Many of the Saint Land elite disciples were amused by the conversation between the two of them. However, when the two Saint Land elite disciples did this, many of the Saint Land elite disciples who thought they were dreaming confirmed it. They were not dreaming. Everything that had happened earlier was real. I've already told you that senior brother Duan Ling Tian will definitely be able to turn the tables. That's right. Senior brother Duan Ling Tian has never been at a disadvantage in the Zoroastrianism. He hasn't been at a disadvantage in the past, and he won't be at a disadvantage now. If senior brother Duan Ling Tian is at a disadvantage, it'll have to be a Silver Flame Elder. It seems like it'll have to be a Silver Flame Elder who's much stronger than Bu Hong. I think so too. The few Saint Land disciples who had confidence in Duan Ling Tian earlier were elated. Just now, no one believed their words. Now, who would dare to doubt their words? At the same time, Wen Yan brought the unconscious Bu Hong away with a gloomy expression on her face. When she left, she did not even need to turn around to feel the strange gazes on her. She was so angry that she felt as though her lungs were about to explode. Duan Ling, I won't let you go. I won't let you go. Wen Yan, who felt extremely humiliated, roared in her heart as she led Bu Hong away. All of a sudden, Wen Yen seemed to have thought of something as she looked at the unconscious Bu Hong. If I crippled senior brother, wouldn't that Duan Lingtian be severely punished by the enforcement hall? The moment Wen Yen thought of this, she wanted to cripple Bu Hong and push the blame to Duan Lingtian. Just as she was about to make her move, a thought flashed in her mind. She stopped moving as though she had thought of something. No. If that Duan Lingtian swears on the lightning penalty oath that he didn't cripple senior brother, won't the enforcement hall suspect me? Wen Yen had decided to hold back because she had thought of this. If the law enforcement hall were to suspect her and she did not dare to swear on the lightning penalty oath to prove her innocence, then she would really be shooting herself in the foot. Although Wen Yen did not make her move in the end, her thoughts were enough to show that she was someone who would do anything to achieve her goals. This was similar to when she reported Gan Ru Yen. Useless trash. At the same time, Wen Yen vented all her anger on Bu Hong as she looked at the unconscious Bu Hong and scolded him coldly. He wondered what Bu Hong's expression would be if he found out that his beloved junior sister had tried to cripple him and push the blame to Duan Lingtian while he was unconscious. Moreover, she had even called him trash. Naturally, it was impossible for him to find out. After Duan Lingtian returned to his residence, news of him defeating Bu Hong, who was ranked second on the true ranking, spread like wildfire in the Saint Land of Zoroastrianism. The entire Saint Land was in an uproar. Duan Lingtian defeated senior brother Bu Hong? Is this for real? As it turns out, Duan Lingtian is ranked 4th on the true ranking and 537th on the Supreme Saint ranking. I doubted he had the ability to defeat senior brother Bu Hong. I didn't expect him to be able to defeat senior brother Bu Hong today. What kind of monster is Duan Lingtian? He has just joined the Zoroastrianism for less than a year, but he's already so freakish. Senior brother Bu Hong is ranked 2nd on the true ranking and 421st on the Supreme Saint ranking. Today, he was defeated by senior brother Duan Lingtian. His ranking on the true ranking and Supreme Saint ranking will be replaced by senior brother Duan Lingtian. That's right. Senior brother Bu Hong's ranking on the true ranking will drop by 1 place, and his ranking on the Supreme Saint ranking will change with senior brother Duan Lingtian. It's all thanks to senior brother Duan Lingtian that he entered the Supreme Saint ranking. Otherwise, his name would be removed from the Supreme Saint ranking. Discussions broke out everywhere in the Saint Land of Zoroastrianism. The topic of discussion revolved around the true ranking and the Supreme Saint ranking. The true ranking was a ranking in Zoroastrianism. Nobody in Zoroastrianism thought Bu Hong was faking it when he was defeated by Duan Lingtian. However, the Supreme Saint ranking was a ranking that targeted the entire Dao Martial Saint Land. Outsiders might think Bu Hong and Duan Lingtian were faking it. For this reason, Bu Hong's ranking on the Supreme Saint ranking would not drop by 1 place after he was defeated. Instead, he would change places with Duan Lingtian. However, if Duan Lingtian did not have a ranking on the Supreme Saint ranking and defeated Bu Hong's name would become famous after he took Bu Hong's place on the Supreme Saint ranking. This was the rule of the Supreme Saint ranking. There were almost no loopholes. That evening, on the independent island where Duan Lingtian stayed outside the Saint Island, a green-clad old man appeared out of thin air like a ghost. This was an old man with a ruddy complexion. He had a kind expression on his face, and he had a sage-like bearing. This little fellow is really formidable. Not only did he not suffer any losses in the enforcement hall, he even defeated the second-ranked on the true ranking, Bu Hong, after leaving the enforcement hall. To think that Ru Yen asked someone to send a message to me and ask me to take care of this little fellow. Chapter 2062. The green-clad old man muttered to himself. He was none other than Gan Ru Yan's master, one of the 3 guardians of Zoroastrianism. Qinghua. About a month ago, Qinghua had received a voice transmission jade token from his direct disciple, Gan Ru Yen, through someone. Rainin? Gan Ru Yen had asked him to protect a person. The person was Duan Lingtian, and he was currently on duty in the enforcement hall. Qinghua had heard of Duan Lingtian before this, but he did not know much about him. When he received the voice transmission jade token from his direct disciple, he deliberately went to find out more about Duan Lingtian. He could not help but click his tongue when he learned about Duan Ling Tian. A new disciple who had only joined Zoroastrianism for less than a year had actually caused so much trouble in Zoroastrianism. Moreover, he had offended many high-ranking officials in Zoroastrianism. Most importantly, he had offended Dong Yuanjin, the vice hall master of the enforcement hall. Dong Yuanjin was one of the strongest golden flame elders in Zoroastrianism. Since then, Qinghua had been paying attention to the enforcement hall. However, he discovered that Dong Yuanjin, the vice hall master of the enforcement hall, had not made any moves. However, as one of the three guardians of Zoroastrianism, Qinghua soon learned that Dong Yuanjin had not made any moves. It was not that Dong Yuanjin had not made any moves. Instead, it was because the first silver flame elder, Tian Dong, whom Dong Yuanjin had found for his son, Dong Lin, had been intimidated by Duan Ling Tian. Not only was he intimidated by Duan Ling Tian, but he had even witnessed Dong Lin being beaten up by Duan Ling Tian. After learning about this, Qinghua had become interested in Duan Ling Tian, whom he had never met before. However, he had never thought of accepting Duan Ling Tian as his disciple. Today, Duan Ling Tian had defeated Duan Ling Tian, Bu Hong, who was ranked second on the true ranking. This had aroused Qinghua's interest in accepting Duan Ling Tian as his direct disciple. It was because of this that he had appeared here. Duan Ling Tian. Qinghua was a straightforward person. Since he wanted to accept Duan Ling Tian as his personal disciple, he didn't beat around the bush and directly called out to Duan Ling Tian. His voice, which contained Saint Qi, directly entered the mansion on the independent island where Duan Ling Tian lived. Duan Ling Tian, who was cultivating on the 4th level of the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda, naturally heard this voice and could not help but reveal a puzzled expression. Who's calling me? This person's strength is at least at the 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage. While Duan Ling Tian was puzzled, Hualao appeared on the 4th floor of the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda and reminded Duan Ling Tian with a serious expression. 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage? Duan Ling Tian's eyes narrowed when he heard Hualao's words. Naturally, he did not doubt Hualao's words. However, a cultivation base at the 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage was too terrifying for him. The 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage was also known as the heaven-defying form. Once one broke through to this stage, one would be able to break free from the shackles of life and live forever. Naturally, this was only true under normal circumstances. If one was killed, one's body would still be destroyed. There are only 4 people at the 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage or above in the Zoroastrianism. They're Tang Xian, the sect leader of the Zoroastrianism sect, and the wind, fire, and cloud guardians of the Zoroastrianism sect. Duan Ling Tian muttered to himself, "It seems like this person is one of the 3 guardians of the Zoroastrianism sect. I wonder who it is and why is he looking for me?" Duan Ling Tian left the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda and his room after he figured out the person's identity. He rose into the air and left the island. After a while, Duan Ling Tian raised his head and saw the green-clad old man standing in the distance. Ever since Duan Ling Tian had arrived at the Zoroastrianism sect, all the high-ranking officials and disciples of Zoroastrianism wore white robes embroidered with flames. This was his first time seeing someone who did not wear a white robe in the Zoroastrianism sect. Based on this, Duan Ling Tian could tell this person had a high status in the Zoroastrianism sect. The green-clad old man was one of the 3 guardians of the Zoroastrianism sect. Soon after, Duan Ling Tian arrived near the green-clad old man. The green-clad old man stood there without emitting any aura. It was as though he was just an ordinary old man. However, Duan Ling Tian knew someone who could restrain their aura to such an extent must have reached a certain cultivation base. It could be said that they had returned to their original state. "Greetings, Guardian." When Duan Ling Tian arrived in front of the green-clad old man, he immediately cupped his fists and greeted him. "How do you know I'm a guardian of the Zoroastrianism sect?" Qinghua asked curiously. He was slightly taken aback when Duan Ling Tian revealed his identity with just a few words. "In the Zoroastrianism sect, I'm afraid only the sect leader and the 3 guardians have the same bearing as you. Therefore, it's not difficult to guess who you are. Duan Ling Tian's face wasn't red, nor was he panting as he spoke without thinking. At the same time, he was certain the green-clad old man was one of the 3 guardians of the Zoroastrianism sect. Naturally, it was not because of the green-clad old man's bearing. It was because Hua Lao had told him the green-clad old man's cultivation base was at the 7th form of the saint's celestial stage or above. In the Zoroastrianism sect, there were only 4 people with such a cultivation base. Tang Xian, the sect leader of the Zoroastrianism sect, was in closed-door cultivation. Therefore, only the 3 guardians of the Zoroastrianism sect were left. However, Duan Lingtan did not know which of the 3 guardians of the Zoroastrianism sect the green-clad old man in front of him was. "You little brat, you actually know how to flatter? Sir, I thought you only know how to cause trouble." Qing Hua was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He shook his head and smiled. "Guardian, you must be joking. I've never caused trouble." Upon hearing the green-clad old man's words, Duan Lingtian realized the green-clad old man knew about his actions after he joined the Zoroastrianism sect. He believed that there was a reason for everything that he had done. He had never caused trouble. "You've never caused trouble?" Qing Hua shook his head. Then he looked at Duan Lingtian mockingly and said, "Perhaps you didn't start the conflict between you and the others. However, as far as I know, Wen Yan has never provoked you. Why did you humiliate her the first time you saw her? Don't tell me you don't think you're the one who started the conflict with Wen Yan?" Qing Hua asked mockingly when he reached the end of his sentence. "Of course not." Duan Lingnan shook his head decisively and said righteously, "It's true that Wen Yan didn't provoke me. However, I'm a person who won't tolerate any disrespect. In my opinion, Wen Yan is the scum of Zoroastrianism. It's not too much to beat someone like her who would do anything to achieve her goals." Duan Lingtian spoke as though he was a righteous person. It was as though he was enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens by abusing Wen Yan. "I didn't expect you to have such self-awareness. Tell me, what's your relationship with Gan Ru Yen?" Qing Hua had a skeptical expression on his face when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He did not hesitate to ask about Duan Lingtian's relationship with Gan Ru Yen. It was as though he had seen through Duan Lingtian's words. It was as though Duan Lingtian was abusing Wen Yan for Gan Ru Yan's sake. "Guardian Qing Hua, why don't you just ask your disciple about my relationship with me? Why are you asking me?" Duan Lingtian said with a wry smile on his face when he heard Qing Hua's question. The righteous expression on his face collapsed immediately. "How do you know I'm Qing Hua?" Qing Hua was surprised when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. "Among the 3 guardians of Zoroastrianism, I'm afraid only you, Guardian Qing Hua, would be affected when Wen Yan is mentioned. After all, she's the one who ordered your disciple to be imprisoned by the enforcement hall." Duan Lingtian said matter-of-factly. Earlier, when Qing Hua mentioned Wen Yan, Duan Lingtian could vaguely sense the change in Qing Hua's emotions. Ordinary people would not be able to detect the change in Qing Hua's emotions. However, as a weapons specialist in his past life, Duan Lingtian's observation ability was extraordinary. Due to this reason, he was able to detect the subtle fluctuation in Qing Hua's emotions. That was how he confirmed Qing Hua's identity. Among the 3 guardians of Zoroastrianism, Qing Hua was the only one who was prejudiced against Wen Yan. After all, Wen Yan was the one who had sent his disciple to the enforcement hall. "Ha!" Qing Hua was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. However, he soon laughed heartily. After a while, he finally stopped laughing. After that, Qing Hua looked at Duan Lingtian and asked with a burning gaze, "Duan Lingtian, are you interested in becoming my disciple? I've heard that you have a sectless cultivator as your master, but I don't care. Now that I've met you, I find you to my liking. As long as you become my disciple, I guarantee I'll spare no effort in nurturing you. Whatever Ru Yen has, you won't lack as well." Qing Hua made a promise after he finished speaking. As long as Duan Lingtian was willing to become his disciple, he would spare no effort in nurturing Duan Lingtian. He would not treat Duan Lingtian any worse than he treated Gan Ru Yen. Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard Qing Hua's words. He did not expect Qing Hua would come just to accept him as his disciple. While Qinghua was looking for Duan Lingtian to accept Duan Lingtian as his disciple, in the lower province of the Dao Martial Saint Land, the quasi-third-rate force, the Azure Cloud Mansion, had another uninvited guest. However, the uninvited guest this time was different from the previous group of people. There was only one person. To be more precise, this was not a person. This was a monster that was 4 meters tall. The reason it was called a monster was because it had a human body and a bull's head. This was a monster with a bull's head and a human body. What kind of monster is this? Chapter 2063. The 4-meter-tall monster with the head of a cow and the body of a human was so strong that the black armored guards couldn't compare to it. Humans are too weak. The monster with the head of a cow and the body of a human was none other than the Ox Devil clan from the Land of Exile. He was one of the elite warriors from the Ox Devil clan who had come to the lower province of the Dao Martial Saint Land not long ago. Before this Ox Devil arrived at the Azure Cloud Mansion, he had killed countless people along the way. All the human martial, Dao, and devil cultivators he encountered were killed by him. Not only that, but he had also devoured their vital essence and blood to increase his strength. In the Land of Exile, the cultivation environment and resources were limited. The increase in the strength of the devil race was usually through the devil-eating devil method. The so-called demon-devouring demon referred to when a demon killed another demon, and the surviving demon devoured the essence and blood of the dead demon to increase his own strength. For this reason, in the Land of Exile, the stronger a devil was, the more devils would die in his hands. In the Land of Exile, almost all the major demon clans were at loggerheads with each other. This was because they could only rely on eating other devils to increase their strength. If he were to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to cultivate, he would need to spend an extremely long time in such a harsh cultivation environment. Naturally, no matter how the devil clans were at odds with each other in the Land of Exile, once they left the Land of Exile and entered other realms, they would put aside their grudges and join forces. This was because they had a common enemy and could devour their enemy's vital essence and blood to increase their strength. There was no need for them to kill each other. More than 100,000 years ago, during the human-devil era, the devil clans from the Land of Exile had come to the Saint Province realm where the Dao Martial Saint Land was located. They had joined forces and started a massacre against the humans. Countless humans were killed and their vital essence and blood were devoured. It was only after the devil clans were chased back to the Land of Exile that the space barrier between the Land of Exile and the Saint Province realm was sealed, that the Saint Province realm regained its peace. The terror of the demon race was like a nightmare to the surviving humans of that era. Humans? They called us humans? Is he a saint beast? Many of the black armored guards could not help but think to themselves when they heard the words spoken by the bull demon in human language. It's no weaker than the powerhouse from the upper province who followed the Zoroastrianism elder. Now, we can only wait for Lord Commander to summon Lord Mansion Master. A centurion of the black-armored army said with a solemn expression, "Manor Lord." Hearing the words of this black-armored army centurion, the eyes of many black-armored army guards lit up. Their eyes were burning with excitement as if they had been injected with chicken blood. It was as if he had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. Nearly a month ago, the previous commander of the black-armored army was killed. After this, Duan Ruffing, the mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion, appointed Tong Zhong, the centurion of the black-armored army, as the new commander of the black-armored army. No one in the black-armored army objected to this. They even felt that it was natural. Tong Zhong was the only exemplary saint stage powerhouse in the black-armored army other than the previous commander. He was also the only exemplary saint stage powerhouse left after the previous commander died. Therefore, Tong Zhong becoming the new commander of the black-armored army was also expected by everyone. Meanwhile, in the Azure Cloud Mansion's main mansion, Tong Zhong, the new commander of the black-armored army, finally met with Duan Ruffing, the mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion. A monster with a cow's head and a human's body? After listening to Tong Zhong's explanation, Duan Ruffing, who was originally sitting on the main seat in the main hall, rose to his feet immediately. Perhaps, Tong Zhong did not know what a monster with a cow's head and a human's body was. However, Duan Ruffing, as someone who had indirectly inherited the Devil Clan's legacy, was very familiar with the monsters with a cow's head and a human's body. A monster with a cow's head and a human's body was the symbol of the Ox Devil Clan in the Land of Exile. An Ox Devil has invaded the Azure Cloud Mansion? A hint of dread flashed in Duan Ruffing's eyes as his expression turned grave. Swoosh. Following that, Duan Ruffing waved his hand and brought Tong Zhong out of the Azure Cloud Mansion's main mansion. As they traveled, he asked, "How tall is the monster with a cow's head and a human's body?" "Almost 4.5 meters. Tong Zhong replied after a moment of thought. "Almost 4.5 meters?" Duan Ruffing sighed in relief when he heard Tong Zhong's words. With his current cultivation base, the most he could summon was a Saint Devil puppet whose strength was at the 5th form of the Saint's celestial stage from the Saint Devil altar in the Land of Exile. If it was an elite from the Ox Devil clan, he might not be a match for it even if he summoned the Saint Devil puppet and used the Super Saint weapon, the Azura Saber. Duan Ruffing sighed in relief when he heard Tong Zhong's description of the Ox Devil's height. A Ox Devil that was almost 4.5 meters tall and had a cultivation base at the 3rd form of the Saint Celestial stage was nothing to him. However, why would a member of the Ox Devil clan appear in the Dao Martial Saint Land? Could it be that when Dugu Shuang and I made a breakthrough to the quintessential Saint stage, we absorbed the pure Devil Qi from the Land of Exile through the spatial barrier and affected the stability of the spatial barrier? Duan Ruffing's expression turned solemn when he thought of this. Previously, he and Dugu Shuang had suppressed their cultivation base to the peak of the exemplary Saint stage because they had to obtain the Devil Qi from the Land of Exile. They had to absorb the pure Devil Qi from the Land of Exile in order to break through to the quintessential Saint stage. If they wanted to absorb the pure Devil Qi from the Land of Exile, they would have to pass through the space barrier. Although the process did not cause any damage to the space barrier, it would still affect the stability of the space barrier. Perhaps it's because I summoned the Saint Devil puppet from the Saint Devil altar in the Land of Exile a month ago? Duan Ruffing could not help but gasp when he thought of this. Now that an Ox Devil from the Land of Exile had passed through the space barrier and came to the Dao Martial Saint Land, did this mean other devils could easily come to the Dao Martial Saint Land as well? If that was the case, would he and Dugu not be sinners who brought disaster to the Dao Martial Saint Land? Duan Ruffing's face instantly turned gloomy. Naturally, he did not regret it even if the devil clans from the Land of Exile came to the Dao Martial Saint Land again because of him. If he did not absorb the pure Devil Qi from the Land of Exile and perfectly break through to the quintessential Saint stage, he would not have mastered the technique to summon the Saint Devil puppet from the Land of Exile. If he did not master the technique to summon the Saint Devil puppet, the Azure Cloud Mansion would have ceased to exist a month ago. Not only would the Azure Cloud Mansion cease to exist, but he, his family, and his friends would have been used by the Zoroastrianism elder Lian. Moreover, they would have harmed his son, Duan Lingtian. For this reason, Duan Ruffing did not regret it even if he was the culprit who caused the devil clans to come to the Dao Martial Saint Land. For the sake of his son, his wife, his daughter-in-law, and his grandson, he was willing to do anything. Even if he was plagued with sins, he was not afraid at all. In his heart, his family was the most important. Everything else, including his own life, was not that important. Lord Mansion Master. Lord Mansion Master. When Duan Ruffing brought Tong Zhong to the main mansion of the Azure Cloud Mansion, the group of black armored guards immediately broke into an uproar. All of them had an excited expression on their faces as though they had seen their savior. Faced with the group of excited black armored guards, Duan Ruffing's heart was heavy. He felt the responsibility he had shouldered was greater than the sky. Under the watchful eyes of the group of black armored guards, after Duan Ruffing put Tong Zhong down, he appeared in front of the group of black armored guards and shielded them behind him. When Duan Ruffing's silhouette entered the eyes of the group of black armored guards, they felt that he was incomparably tall and lofty. At the same time, they felt extremely safe at this moment. At this moment, their sense of belonging to the Azure Cloud Mansion grew even stronger in their hearts. "How did you come here from the Land of Exile?" Duan Ruffing asked in a deep voice as he looked at the bull devil who was 4 meters tall. Human, you're too weak. You don't have the right to ask me questions. The bull devil said disdainfully when he heard Duan Rufeng's question. He had a disdainful expression on his face. Is that so? Duan Rufeng narrowed his eyes when he heard the bull devil's provocation. Then he cast the technique he inherited from the devil clans and summoned the Saint Devil puppet from the Saint Devil altar in the land of exile. When the Saint Devil puppet emerged from the whirlpool, the bull devil who was standing nearby no longer had a look of disdain on his face. It was replaced with a look of horror and disbelief. Saint Devil puppet? You're just a mere quintessential Saint stage human from the Saint Province realm. How did you summon the Saint Devil puppet from the land of exile? At this moment, not only did the bull devil recognize the stone golem that was emitting pure devil chi as the Saint Devil puppet, but it even sensed the energy hidden in the Saint Devil puppet was much stronger than it. For this reason, it began to panic. You don't have to worry about that. Duan Rufeng sneered as he flew into the Saint Devil puppet's body, preparing to control the Saint Devil puppet to deal with the bull devil. Facing the Saint Devil puppet that was clearly much stronger than him, Bull Demon only had the thought of running away in his mind. He immediately turned around, wanting to escape as fast as he could. Apart from that, it was also eager to inform the 10th elder of the Bull Devil clan about this. There was someone in the Debussy subterranean who could threaten the elite warriors of the Bull Devil clan. Chapter 2064. The 4-meter-tall ox devil only had a cultivation base at the 3rd form of the Saint's celestial stage. With such a cultivation base, it was impossible for it to escape from the Saint Devil puppet controlled by Duan Rufeng. After all, the Saint Devil puppet controlled by Duan Rufeng was at the 4th form of the Saint's celestial stage. It was close to the 5th form of the Saint's celestial stage. The ox devil at the 3rd form of the Saint's celestial stage was nothing in front of the Saint Devil puppet. Soon after, the Saint Devil puppet controlled by Duan Rufeng caught up to the ox devil who was considered an elite warrior in the ox devil clan and killed it. Soon after, the ox devil's vital energy and blood were absorbed by Duan Rufeng. In the past, although Duan Rufeng knew how to absorb other people's vital energy and blood and had witnessed He Ming controlling his body to absorb the vital energy and blood of many powerhouses, he had never done it himself. This was because he could not get over it. He had always felt that it was against the heavens and earth. This was also the reason why his current cultivation was so much weaker than Dugu Yi's. After Dugu had broken through to the quintessential saint stage, he had absorbed the vital energy and blood of many powerhouses in the Debussy subterranean. Due to this, his cultivation base had risen to the saint celestial stage in a short time. However, Duan Rufeng did not absorb the vital energy and blood of humans and saint beasts. It did not mean he did not absorb the vital energy and blood of devils. He did not feel guilty about absorbing the vital energy and blood of the ox devil from the land of exile. It's a pity my soul energy isn't strong enough to use the soul-searching secret tactic on it. Otherwise, I'd be able to obtain some useful information. After absorbing the vital energy and blood of the ox devil, Duan Rufeng's expression changed drastically. I wonder if this ox devil is the only one who managed to pass through the space barrier to the Dao Martial Saint Land, or if the entire ox devil clan has passed through the space barrier to the Dao Martial Saint Land. Perhaps, many devils have come to the Dao Martial Saint Land. A hint of dread could be seen in Duan Rufeng's eyes when he thought of this. Regardless of the situation, I have to go into seclusion to digest the blood essence of the demonic bowl I just devoured to improve my cultivation. I should be able to break through to the Saint Celestial stage once I've completely digested the Ox Devil's vital energy and blood. Even though Duan Rufeng did not know the exact situation of the demon race in the exiled lands, he still did not know the exact situation. However, he still had an ominous feeling. He felt that the human devil era from hundreds of thousands of years ago was very likely to reappear. In order to survive the chaotic era of the human devil era, one had to be powerful enough. Otherwise, one would be killed and devoured by the demon race and become a part of the demon race's power. Regardless of whether it was for himself, his family, or the Azure Cloud Mansion. He had to make himself strong in a short period of time. Only then would he be able to protect everything he wanted to protect during the chaotic era of the human devil era. After bidding farewell to Tong Zhong and asking him to calm the black armored guards down, Duan Ruffing left in a hurry and returned to the main mansion to enter closed-door cultivation. The group of black armored guards stared at the direction where Duan Ruffing had left. They were still in a daze for a long time. In the lower province of the Dao Martial Saint Land, the Azure Cloud Mansion was considered lucky. After all, they had a powerful mansion master who had successfully killed the elite warriors from the Ox Devil clan who had invaded the Azure Cloud Mansion and protected the Azure Cloud Mansion. Similarly, the Mountain Shade Black Market was also lucky. They had a powerful leader who had also killed the elite warriors from the Ox Devil clan who had invaded the Mountain Shade Black Market and protected the Mountain Shade Black Market. However, the other quasi-third-rate forces were not as lucky. For example, the quasi-third-rate force, the Mystical Sky Mansion, that Duan Lingtian had once stayed in, was destroyed by the elite warriors from the Ox Devil clan. Many high-ranking officials and disciples of the Mystical Sky Mansion were killed and devoured. Only a few lucky high-ranking officials and disciples managed to escape from the Mystical Sky Mansion in time. Among them was the female disciple of Mystical Sky Mansion, Wang Fei Xian. She had a good relationship with Duan Lingtian when he was in the Mystical Sky Mansion and was in love with Duan Lingtian. After Wang Fei Xian escaped from the Mystical Sky Mansion, she returned to her home, the fourth-rate force, the Tyrannic Saber Mansion. However, she discovered the Tyrannic Saber Mansion was in ruins. Blood flowed like a river in the Tyrannic Saber Mansion, and dried corpses were everywhere. Her grandfather had also been killed and devoured into a dried corpse. Grandfather! Wang Fei Xian knelt beside the corpse of her grandfather, the mansion master of Tyrannic Saber Mansion, and wept bitterly as tears streamed down her face. Her pitiful appearance made one's heart ache. After a long time, Wang Fei Xian finally stopped crying. After wiping away the tears on her face, her eyes shone coldly. The flames of hatred continued to burn in her heart as though it could incinerate everything. That cow-headed man called himself an elite warrior from the Ox Devil clan. What's the Ox Devil clan? Wang Fei Xian was at a loss as the flames of hatred burned fiercely in her heart. This was because she had never heard of the Ox Devil clan before this. It was as though the Ox Devil clan had appeared out of thin air. Moreover, the so-called elite warrior from the Ox Devil clan was terrifyingly strong. It was heaven-defying. Even someone as strong as the mansion master of Mystical Sky Mansion was killed by it with just one strike. When Wang Fei Xian recalled the scene of the Ox Devil clan's elite warrior killing the mansion master of Mystical Sky Mansion, she felt helpless again. Could she really have her revenge? Was there any hope of revenge? After leaving the Tyrannic Saber Mansion, Wang Fei Xian wandered around aimlessly. Along the way, she saw many dried corpses of people who had been killed or devoured. These dried corpses stung her eyes and stimulated her heart. She was on the verge of breaking down. In the end, even Wang Fei Xian did not know why she decided to wander in the direction of the quasi-third-rate force, the Azure Cloud Mansion. Perhaps, it was because the man she loved was the young mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion? Or perhaps, it was because she felt the Azure Cloud Mansion was relatively safer since it was stronger than the Mystical Sky Mansion. To Wang Fei Xian, this was an instinctive decision. Duan Lingtian, who was in the Zoroastrianism in the upper province, was, naturally, unaware of the chaos in the lower province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. After rejecting Qing Hua, the guardian of the Zoroastrianism's request to take him in as a disciple, he quietly appeared on the Saint Island and went to the residence of the Saint Land's elite disciples. He had stayed in the residence of the Saint Land's elite disciples for some time in the past. He only had one purpose in coming here today, and that was to look for someone. This person was none other than the Saint Land's elite disciple whom he had asked for directions when he had just arrived at the Saint Land of Zoroastrianism. Guanxiu. In the end, he had a death duel with the true disciple, Yang Wen, and Guanxiu had placed a huge bet on him without him reminding him. Due to this reason, although he did not have much interaction with Guanxiu, he could tell he was a good and reliable person. For this reason, he had left the Zoroastrianism to look for Guanxiu's help. Senior brother Ling Tian. Guan Xiu was, naturally, excited when he saw Duan Ling Tian again. He greeted Duan Ling Tian warmly. One could say he had personally witnessed Duan Ling Tian's rise in the Saint Land. Guan Xiu. Duan Ling Tian smiled and greeted him back. Senior brother Ling Tian, you still remember me? When Guan Xiu heard Duan Ling Tian calling out his name, he felt a surge of excitement in his heart. It was as though he was injected with chicken blood. Of course, I remember you. Why would I look for you if I don't remember you? Duan Ling Tian said with a smile. Senior brother Ling Tian, what's the matter? Guan Xiu asked curiously as he tried to suppress the excitement in his heart. I'm here to ask you for a favor. Duan Ling Tian did not beat around the bush. Please speak, senior brother Ling Tian. As long as it's within my power, I'll definitely do my best to help. Guan Xiu said confidently when he learned the purpose of Duan Ling Tian's visit. In Guan Xiu's opinion, put aside the fact that this senior brother Ling Tian had helped him earn a lot of contribution points in the Palace of Death, just based on the fact that this senior brother Ling Tian still remembered him, it was his duty to help senior brother Ling Tian. It's not a difficult matter. Following that, Duan Ling Tian began to talk to Guan Xiu about a serious matter. He wanted Guan Xiu to help him bring an item away from Zoroastrianism and place it in the barren mountains thousands of miles south of Zoroastrianism. The item he wanted Guan Xiu to bring was a small box that could not be stored in a spatial ring. Most importantly, during the process of transporting this small box, it had to be absolutely stable. There could not be the slightest bit of shaking. That small box. You can go to that tree to retrieve it tomorrow morning. After instructing Guan Xiu, Duan Ling Tian pointed at a tree near the Saint Land's elite disciples' residence. At that time, I'll place it on the leftmost branch. Also, as long as you bring the small box to the destination and place it on the ground steadily, you'll be able to leave that area. After Duan Ling Tian finished instructing Guan Xiu, he bade farewell and left after Guan Xiu nodded in agreement. What small box? It can't be stored in a spatial ring, and it can't be shaken at all. I don't care. Since senior brother Ling Tian requested this of me, he must have his reasons. I'll just do as he says. After Duan Ling Tian left, Guan Xiu still had some doubts in the beginning. However, he no longer thought about it. However, Guan Xiu did not expect this at all. Duan Ling Tian wanted him to help him transport him out. The small box was used to store the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. He would enter the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. As long as the small box was transported in a stable manner, the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda would not expel him. This was also the reason he requested Guan Xiu to not let the small box shake at all. Based on this, it was obvious. Chapter 2065. Guan Xiu was an inconspicuous elite disciple in the Saint Land of Zoroastrianism. Since he rarely interacted with Duan Ling Tian, he would not be targeted by the people whom Duan Ling Tian had offended. For this reason, Duan Ling Tian came to him for help. Whether it was today or the next day, Duan Ling Tian was very careful when he came to look for Guan Xiu. With the protection of Elder Hua, who was hiding in the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda, it was easy for him to avoid the surveillance of some people. He arrived near the residence of the Saint Land's elite disciples and successfully arrived at the tree that he had mentioned to Guan Xiu yesterday. I hope everything goes well. After taking a deep breath, Duan Ling Tian placed the small box he had prepared on the tree branch. At the same time, he hid the shrunken 7 treasures exquisite pagoda in the box. Then, Duan Ling Tian entered the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda with just a thought. Next, he waited for Guan Xiu to retrieve the small box. At the same time, the people who were hiding in the dark began to search for Duan Ling Tian when they could not find Duan Ling Tian. Apart from that, they also spread the news. For a time, many powerhouses rushed out of the Saint Land of Zoroastrianism and made their way to the 4 symbols sanctums of Zoroastrianism. They only had one goal in mind. They wanted to keep an eye on everyone who left Zoroastrianism to see if Duan Ling Tian had left Zoroastrianism. As soon as Duan Ling Tian left, some of them would immediately follow him while the rest would send the news back to the enforcement hall and the vice hall master of the enforcement hall, Dong Yuanjin. It was fortunate that Duan Lingtian did not plan to leave Zoroastrianism alone. Otherwise, even with Hua Lao's help, he might not be able to leave Zoroastrianism under the surveillance of these people. Naturally, Duan Lingtian could disguise himself. However, his back view and the invisible aura he exuded would not change because of his disguise. For this reason, he did not dare to take the risk. If there was someone familiar with him among the people who were watching him, they would recognize him even if he disguised himself. In the residence of the elite disciples in the saint land of Zoroastrianism. Unlike the four symbols sanctums of Zoroastrianism, this place was very peaceful. The subordinates of Dong Yuanjin, the vice hall master of the enforcement hall, were stationed at the edge of the four symbols sanctums of Zoroastrianism. At this moment, another person walked out of a stone house in one of the courtyards in the residence of the elite disciples, and Duan Lingtian. Since this person came from the fire worship sect's Saint Land's residence, he was, naturally, an elite disciple as well. Now, it's time for me to make an appointment with senior brother Lingtian. This Saint Land elite disciple was none other than Guanxiu, whom Duan Lingtian had come to look for yesterday. He was also the key to whether Duan Lingtian would be able to leave Zoroastrianism today. As long as Guanxiu did not make any mistakes, Duan Lingtian would be able to leave Zoroastrianism easily. Soon after, Guanxiu arrived at the tree that Duan Lingtian had pointed to yesterday. As expected, he saw an exquisite little box at the place where they had agreed to meet. Although Guanxiu was extremely curious about what was inside the box that made his junior brother Lingtian so careful to not even let the box shake, Guanxiu was extremely curious. However, in the end, he dismissed his curiosity and did not open the little box to take a look. Don't worry, senior brother Lingtian. I'll definitely complete the task that you've entrusted to me. Guanxiu took a deep breath and carefully picked up the little box. While ensuring that it would not shake, he flew out of the saint land of Zoroastrianism. After leaving the saint land of Zoroastrianism, he brought the little box with him and headed south. Soon after, he arrived near the Black Turtle Sanctum, one of the four symbols sanctums of Zoroastrianism. Although Zoroastrianism had a rule that Saint Land disciples were not allowed to enter any of the four symbols sanctums, Saint Land disciples could bypass the Black Turtle Sanctum in the south of the Zoroastrianism sanctum and leave Zoroastrianism. Along the way, other than holding the little box in his hand carefully, Guanxiu did not care about anything else. He did not even notice the few silver flame elders from the Saint Land who were spying on him in the dark. Naturally, he did not notice the silver flame elders from the Saint Land who were spying on him in the dark. The Silver Flame Elders did not intend to make things difficult for him as well. They merely glanced at him and confirmed that he was not Duan Lingtian before allowing him to leave Zoroastrianism. I hope he's all right. During this process, Duan Lingtian, who was in the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda, held his breath. He was slightly worried. He was not worried that Guanxiu would be targeted. After all, even if the few Silver Flame Elders who were hiding in the dark had their eyes on Guanxiu, they would not do anything to him. After all, Guanxiu was not Duan Lingtian. However, the few Silver Flame Elders who were hiding in the dark would not know that Duan Lingtian was hiding in the dark. He knew that Duan Lingtian would be hiding in the little box in Guanxiu's hand. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was holding his breath. He was worried that Guanxiu would not be able to hold the little box firmly and would cause the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda to shake and throw him out of the pagoda. If he was thrown out of the pagoda, he would definitely be discovered by the few Silver Flame Elders who were hiding in the dark. At that time, his plan to leave Zoroastrianism would be ruined. Fortunately, Guanxiu was very reliable. The little box was very stable in his hand. It did not shake at all even when he was 100 miles away from the Zoroastrianism. This Guanxiu is pretty good. Duan Lingtian will remember this favor. Duan Lingtian sighed in relief when he was 100 miles away from the Zoroastrianism. At this moment, even if Guanxiu did not hold the little box firmly and was thrown out by the Seven Treasures Exquisite Pagoda, he no longer had to worry about being targeted by the few high-ranking officials in the Zoroastrianism. The high-ranking officials in the Zoroastrianism whom he had offended, including the Black Turtle Sanctum's first silver flame Elderlion, could only be considered a small fry. Apart from that, he had also offended the Sanctum leader of the Azure Dragon Sanctum and the Vice Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall, Dong Yuanjin. If he left the Zoroastrianism, he would be targeted by these three people. Unless he returned to the Zoroastrianism in time, he would definitely die. With Guan Xiu's speed, it did not take him long to travel 1,000 miles. Is this the place that senior brother Ling Tian mentioned? Guan Xiu muttered to himself as he looked at the barren hills beneath his feet. Soon after, he descended from the sky and placed the little box on one of the barren hills. Then he left without looking back. After making sure Guan Xiu had left, Duan Lingtian also came out of the Seven Treasures exquisite pagoda and put it away. As for the little box, he casually threw it into his spatial ring. I'm finally out. Duan Lingtian was in a good mood when he was in the barren hills. Since he had left the Zoroastrianism quietly, he no longer had to worry about being targeted by the three high-ranking officials in the Zoroastrianism whom he had offended. He could do whatever he wanted. The reason I left the Zoroastrianism is to improve my innate spiritual root. Duan Lingtian did not forget the reason he left the Zoroastrianism. If it was not for the fact that he wanted to improve his innate spiritual root, he would not have left the Zoroastrianism so easily. After all, Kerr and their daughter were still imprisoned in the Zoroastrianism Enforcement Hall. Their lives might be in danger at any time. Currently, he wanted to improve his strength as quickly as possible so he could rescue Kerr and their daughter from the Zoroastrianism Enforcement Hall. For this reason, he chose to leave the Zoroastrianism temporarily. In the Zoroastrianism, the rules were strict. He did not have many opportunities to improve his innate spiritual root. However, everything was different outside. Although I'm eager to improve my innate spiritual root, I can't just devour other people's innate spiritual roots. If I devour other people's innate spiritual roots, what's the difference between me and those inhumane devil cultivators? Duan Lingtian did not change his mind about this. He would not harm the innocent. Even if he wanted to improve his innate spiritual root in a short time, he would not devour other people's innate spiritual roots. In the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land, is there any place suitable for me to improve my innate spiritual root in a short time? With this question in mind, Duan Lingtian made his way south. A few days later, he saw a city and decided to stay in it. He began to inquire about places in the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land that were suitable for him to improve his innate spiritual root. The place suitable for me to improve my innate spiritual root must be a place where there are many villains. I don't have to worry about devouring their innate spiritual roots. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. At the same time, Duan Lingtian found the busiest restaurant in the city center and went in to take a seat by the window. After ordering his food and wine, he began to eavesdrop on the conversations around him. Restaurants had always been the best place to gather information. Duan Lingtian believed he would be able to find the information he wanted in this restaurant. As time passed, it was soon noon. The lively restaurant was completely packed. It became even livelier. In the restaurant, there were tables full of customers talking about everything under the sun. However, there was no news that Duan Lingtian wanted to know at this moment. However, Duan Lingtian was not in a hurry. He listened to the customers patiently. If there was no news for a day, he would come for 2 days. If there was no news for 2 days, he would come for 3 days. If there was no news for 3 days, he would ask someone. Naturally, Duan Lingtian could ask someone now, but he did not do so. Although he had been in the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land for quite some time, he had spent most of his time in Zoroastrianism. Therefore, he knew nothing about the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. He wanted to take this opportunity to learn more about the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land from the customers in the restaurant. I heard that about 6 months ago, the Medicine King Sun Ying's herb garden was ransacked. Before that, he had imprisoned 3 people from the Debussy subterranean as servants in his herb garden. Chapter 2066. Rumor has it that he has already declared that if he meets the 3 people from the WCI subterranean again, he'll definitely kill them. The voice continued to enter Duan Lingtian's ears. This confirmed Duan Lingtian's suspicions. The Medicine King, Sun Ying, was the owner of the herb garden that Duan Lingtian, Gu Li, and Zhu Luqi had accidentally barged into when they arrived at the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. Sun Ying had imprisoned them and made them servants in the herb garden. Through Hua Lao's plan, with the help of Gu Li and Zhu Luqi, Duan Lingtian had managed to loot all the spirit medicines in Sun Ying's herb garden. At the same time, he had successfully lured Sun Ying away and escaped. However, at that time, Duan Lingtian was unaware of the identity of the owner of the herb garden. Sun Ying? Medicine King? A quasi-celestial grade saint refinement master who's skilled in medicine refinement Dao? A sectless cultivator ranked at the 275th place on the Supreme Saint ranking? Duan Lingtian shuddered when he learned about the identity of the owner of the herb garden. A sectless cultivator ranked at the 275th place on the Supreme Saint ranking was definitely at the 3rd form of the Saint Celestial stage. Although he was not the strongest among those at the 3rd form of the Saint Celestial stage, he was definitely one of the best. It's fortunate that we managed to escape. Otherwise, the 3 of us would have died. Duan Lingtian rejoiced inwardly when he learned about Sun Ying's strength. After all, he was only ranked at the 421st place on the Supreme Saint ranking after defeating Bu Hong, a true disciple of Zoroastrianism, with the Celestial Supreme Treasure, the Jasper Celestial Sword. Currently, he might not be a match for Sun Ying even if he used the Jasper Celestial Sword. Right now, Palace Master Zhu should have successfully returned to the lower province and reported to the Azure Cloud Mansion. I hope Father will be able to evacuate the Azure Cloud Mansion and find a place to hide before Yang Chong, the 5th elder of the Northern Plethora sect, sends his men to the lower province. When Duan Lingtian heard about the Medicine King, Sun Ying, he was reminded of Zhu Luqi, who was one of the 2 people who had gone through thick and thin together. Zhu Luqi had gone to the Azure Cloud Mansion in the WCI subterranean to report to the Azure Cloud Mansion. However, Duan Lingtian did not expect that Sun Ying's death. Zhu Luqi had died a month ago. Zhu Luqi did not return to the lower province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. Due to a malfunction in the inter-province transportation formation, he was sent to the land of exile and killed by the 10th elder of the Ox Devil clan. Senior brother Gu Li's senior brother, Duan Ling Chen's son. After a while, Duan Lingtian thought about Gu Li again. I wonder how he's doing now. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's thoughts drifted so far away that he did not notice that there were 2 people at his table. The 2 people who appeared at Duan Lingtian's table were a young man and a young woman. The young man was tall and handsome. Naturally, he was still lacking compared to Duan Lingtian. Whether it was the Duan Lingtian before he disguised himself or the Duan Lingtian after he disguised himself, Duan Lingtian was much more handsome than the young man. Due to this reason, the young man could not help but frown when he saw Duan Lingtian as he stood in front of Duan Lingtian's table. A sense of inferiority rose in his heart. It was precisely this feeling that made him extremely displeased, to the extent that some dissatisfaction faintly rose in his heart. As for the young woman next to the young man, she had a flawless and delicate face. She exuded a seductive charm. She seemed to overshadow everything around her as she stood there. One had to admit she was a beauty. She was only slightly inferior to Duan Lingtian's wives, Ke and Li Fei. She could be considered as a rare beauty in the Dao Martial Saint Land. Although the woman had an extremely beautiful face, she looked very approachable. She looked as pure and holy as a celestial when she was dressed in white. Hello, there are no more empty seats in the restaurant. Can we share a table with you? The white-clad girl looked at Duan Lingtian, who was in a daze, and asked with a smile on her face. Her voice was light and melodious, and it made people feel extremely comfortable when they heard it. At the same time, it gave people a feeling as if they were bathing in the spring breeze. When Duan Lingtian heard her voice, he immediately snapped out of his daze. Naturally, it was also because the 2 people who were near him did not reveal any hostility toward him. Otherwise, he would have long regained his senses. What did you say? Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he saw the white-clad young woman before him. Ever since he came to the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land, he had never seen such a beautiful young woman. Naturally, Gan Ru Yen, who looked exactly like Kerr, was an exception. There are no more empty seats in the restaurant. Can we share a table with you? The white-clad young woman repeated patiently. At the same time, her cheeks flushed red. This was because she noticed this young man was different from other men when he looked at her. His gaze was pure and flawless. There was no hint of profanity in his eyes at all. She instantly had a deep impression of this pair of eyes. Not only that, but she also had a good impression of the owner of this pair of eyes. It was her first time having a good impression of a man other than her family since she was young. Due to this reason, her cheeks flushed red. Of course. Duan Lingtian nodded his head. He also had a good impression of this white-clad young woman who was shy like a young girl. Due to this reason, he agreed to it immediately. From the beginning until the end, Duan Lingtian did not even look at the young man standing next to the young woman at all. When the young man saw the woman talking to Duan Lingtian, his face flushed red. Jealousy and anger could be seen in his eyes immediately. In his heart, he had long regarded this woman as his woman. However, this woman had never shown such a shy side to her in front of him. He was completely enraged at this moment. Thank you. After the white-clad young woman thanked Duan Lingtian, she took the opportunity to sit next to Duan Lingtian. After she sat down, the redness on her cheeks deepened even more. The tables and chairs in this restaurant had 2 benches for each table, and the benches were divided into 2 sides. She did not want to sit next to the young man who came with her, so she sat next to Duan Lingtian, a stranger. At the very least, this stranger was different from the other men who came with her. He did not show any lewd thoughts from the beginning until the end. He gave her a very comfortable sense of security. Duan Lingtian did not expect the white-clad young woman to suddenly sit next to him. When he came to his senses, the unique fragrance of a virgin wafted into his nose, causing him to feel relaxed and happy. As for the young man who came with the white-clothed woman, he was already angry. Now, seeing that the woman was actually willing to sit with this strange man instead of him on the same bench, his heart was instantly filled with a wicked fire. Qing, how can you sit next to a stranger? Quick, come and sit next to me. After the young man sat down on the bench next to the table, he beckoned the woman to sit next to him. This was the reason why he was willing to let a stranger sit next to her. He thought the woman would sit next to him if he did that. Dongfang Zhu, I'm telling you one last time. You can't call me Qing. Our relationship hasn't reached that stage yet. You can call me Qiumu Qing. The woman who had been as gentle as water since the beginning turned cold when she heard the young man called her Dongfang Zhu. At the same time, she said to Dongfang Zhu angrily, Brother Dongfang Zhu, you're not allowed to do that. Qiumu Qing. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian also learned the white-clad young woman's name. He could not help but praise her inwardly. What a good name. Apart from that, Duan Lingtian also noticed Qiumu Qing did not seem to like Dongfang Zhu who came with her. Not only did she not like him, but she even seemed to hate him. This caused him to be slightly puzzled. Since she hates this Dongfang Zhu so much, why did she come to this restaurant to eat with him? A woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. Duan Lingtian finally understood. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's impression of Qiumu Qing had weakened slightly. Dongfang Zhu's eyes flashed coldly when he heard Qiumu Qing's words. However, he still maintained a smile on his face. It's a little rude to call you by your name. Since you don't want me to call you that, I'll call you Miss Mu Qing. What do you think? You can just call me Miss Qiu. Qiumu Qing said calmly. Her tone was indifferent. All right, I'll do as you say. Since you asked me to call you Miss Qiu, I'll call you Miss Qiu. Dongfang Zhu said obediently. However, he was inwardly furious. Bitch, I'll ravage you until you're half dead after I marry you. I'll make you beg for mercy under my crotch. Miss Qiu, did you hear what I said earlier? Dongfang Zhu reminded Qiumu Qing again. He wanted her to leave the bench Duan Lingtian was sitting on and sit next to him. Naturally, he did not want to miss an opportunity to be close to a beauty. Moreover, The beauty was sitting next to a man who was more handsome and had a better bearing than him. He could not help but feel jealous. "There's no need for that. I'm fine sitting here." Chiu Mu-ching interrupted Dong Fangzhu again. She did not mind sitting next to Duan Lingtian. Instantly, Dong Fangzhu's face darkened. Since Chiu Mu-ching had failed, he quickly shifted his attention to Duan Lingtian. "Nice to meet you, I'm Dong Fangzhu. I'm the second young master of the Dong Fang clan, one of the 3 great clans in Clarity City. My father is the clan leader of the Dong Fang clan." Chapter 2067. Clarity City was the city Duan Lingtian was currently in. It was a small city at the southern border of the western region. Just now, from the words of some of the customers in the restaurant, he had a certain understanding of the distribution of forces in this city. Apart from the Sectless Cultivators Alliance, the strongest forces in Clarity City were the 3 great clans. The 3 great clans were the Feng clan, the Chiu clan, and the Eastern Fang clan. They were third-rate forces in the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. The Feng clan was the strongest among the 3 great clans. Is Chiu Mu-ching from the Chiu clan? Duan Lingtian could not help but speculate inwardly when he heard Dong Fangzhu's condescending words. "Boy, didn't you hear what I said?" Dong Fangzhu was enraged when he saw Duan Lingtian had ignored him. His eyes flashed coldly as though he was about to devour Duan Lingtian. He was the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan. When had he ever been ignored in Clarity City? However, Duan Lingtian continued to ignore him. He turned to look at Chiu Mu-ching and asked, "If I'm not mistaken, you must be the only daughter of the clan leader of Chiu clan, the young miss of Chiu clan, right?" Duan Lingtian had heard the customers in the restaurant mention the young miss of Chiu clan earlier. However, they did not mention her name. Moreover, the customers had also mentioned the situation in Clarity City. Although the 3 great clans in Clarity City were on par with each other, the Feng clan was the strongest among them. The other 2 clans had to band together to avoid being defeated by the Feng clan. The other 2 clans, the Chiu clan and the Eastern Fang clan, had been trying to get closer to each other as well. There was no doubt the marriage would strengthen the relationship between the 2 clans. Rumor had it that the clan leader of Chiu clan intended to betroth his only daughter to the young master of the Eastern Fang clan. However, rumor had it that the young miss of Chiu clan did not like the young master of the Eastern Fang clan. Due to this reason, the marriage had been delayed for a long time. At first, Duan Lingtian did not react. Now that he had regained his senses, he guessed that the white-clad woman next to him and the self-proclaimed second young master of the Dong Fang family sitting opposite him were most likely the 2 parties involved. Duan Lingtian was very close to Chiu Mu-ching when he spoke to her. Chiu Mu-ching blushed when she felt Duan Lingtian's warm breath. She asked in surprise, You know me?" "I don't know him." "Yes." Duan Lingtian shook his head. At the same time, he realized he had misunderstood Chiu Mu-ching. The first miss of the Chiu clan had no choice but to be together with the second young master of the Dong Fang clan, Dong Fangzhu. It was likely that the Chiu clan behind her had forced her to interact with Dong Fangzhu so that they would develop feelings for each other. It was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to guess. In that case, it made sense why Chiu Mu-ching would eat with Dong Fangzhu even though she hated him. "You guessed?" Chiu Mu-ching was slightly surprised. However, she did not doubt Duan Lingtian's words. She had a good impression of this man who stood out from the crowd, and she could tell that he wasn't trying to attract her attention by saying those words. "I heard you're being harassed by a toad from the Dong Fang family. I guessed it when I heard the toad chirping in my ear earlier." Duan Lingtian replied in a timely manner. He did not hold back when he spoke. Chiu Mu-ching was stunned when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. She could not help but cover her mouth and laugh when she heard them. Her eyebrows were curved into crescents, and she looked even more charming at this moment. Duan Lingtian could not help but be dazed when he saw this. Chiu Mu-ching was even more beautiful when she laughed. At this moment, Chiu Mu-ching's beauty was comparable to Kerr and Li Fei. Chiu Mu-ching's cheeks flushed when she saw Duan Lingtian looking at her in a daze. Even her neck was flushed red. She looked as shy as a young girl. Toad? Dong Fangzhu, who was sitting opposite Duan Lingtian and Qiu Muqing, was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He was not stupid. Naturally, he knew Duan Lingtian was referring to him as a toad. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian would dare to offend him. He did not expect someone would dare to call him a toad in Clarity City. When Dong Fangzhu regained his senses, he saw Qiu Muqing acting shy in front of Duan Lingtian. He was so furious that he could not suppress his anger at all. Bush, bush, bush. Finally, after taking a few deep breaths, Dong Fangzhu lost his temper. "Brat, you're seeking death!" Dong Fangzhu shouted as he rose to his feet. Without saying a word, he clenched his right hand into a fist that was surrounded by Saint energy and charged toward Duan Lingtian. "Watch out!" Qiu Muqing, who was acting shy in front of Duan Lingtian, was horrified when she saw Dong Fangzhu attacking Duan Lingtian. She hastily stood up to stop Dong Fangzhu. However, since her strength was on par with Dong Fangzhu, she did not have time to save Duan Lingtian. Smith. While Qiu Muqing was panicking, a crisp sound rang in the air. Then, a powerful shockwave swept out from the source of the sound, creating a hurricane in the restaurant. At the same time, the commotion at Duan Lingtian's table had attracted the attention of all the customers in the restaurant. Isn't that Dong Fangzhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang family? Isn't the white-clad woman standing opposite him Qiu Muqing, the eldest miss of the Qiu clan? So, he's Qiu Muqing? As expected of the most beautiful woman in Clarity City. She's so beautiful that even the moon and flowers would be put to shame. Although the second young master of the Eastern Fang family is good-looking, he's not a good match for the eldest Miss Qiu in terms of appearance and bearing. I think so too. On the contrary, the purple-clothed youth beside first young Miss Qiu, no matter if it is appearance or temperament, is far superior to the Dongfang family's second young master. When he and first young Miss Qiu stand together, they really are like a golden couple. I think the eldest Miss Qiu is a good match for the purple-clad young man next to her. What are they doing? Are they jealous of each other? The customers in the restaurant began to discuss among themselves very quickly. They did not care about Dong Fangzhu's background at all. They spoke of their thoughts without any hesitation. In Clarity City, apart from the three great clans, sectless cultivators like them had their own alliances as well. For this reason, they were not worried the Eastern Fang family would seek revenge on them over such a trivial matter. Qiu Muqing's cheeks flushed when she heard the customer's words. At the same time, she stole a glance at Duan Lingtian. She sighed in relief when she saw Duan Lingtian was not looking at her. He's so strong. Qiu Muqing's eyes shone brightly when she saw Duan Lingtian casually grabbing Dong Fangzhu's fist, causing Dong Fangzhu's face to turn red and his body to tremble. This purple-clad young man seems to be very strong. That's right. Dong Fangzhu is at the peak of the exemplary saint stage, but he's as weak as a 3-year-old child in front of this purple-clad young man. The second young master of the Eastern Fang family is only Essis. He wants to marry the most beautiful woman in Clarity City with such a weak strength? He must be dreaming. In my opinion, only a prodigy like this purple-clad young man is worthy of the most beautiful woman in Clarity City. I think so too. A commotion broke out among the customers in the restaurant when they saw Dong Fangzhu was powerless in front of Duan Lingtian. They were not stingy with their praise for Duan Lingtian. Moreover, they even said that only a prodigy like Duan Lingtian was worthy of the most beautiful woman in Clarity City, Qiu Muqing. Dong Fangzhu's face turned red when he heard the customer's words. However, the intense pain from his hand caused his face to turn red. His face was a mixture of red and green, making him look exceptionally interesting. I don't care who you are, you better let go of me now. Otherwise, this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. Dong Fangzhu roared angrily as he struggled. He did not hesitate to threaten Duan Lingtian. This day next year will be the anniversary of my death? Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold when he heard Dong Fangzhu's words. A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth as he called out to Hua Lao, who was in the Seven Treasures exquisite pagoda. Hua Lao, help me devour his innate spiritual root. Devour his innate spiritual root in front of so many people? When Elder He saw the scene, he couldn't help but be stunned. Don't worry. With my current strength, I can easily suppress even the strongest person in this city, Duan Lingtian said domineeringly. Based on his words, it was obvious he was extremely confident. The most powerful clan in Clarity City, the Feng clan, was only a third-rate force. In the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land, there were only a handful of people whose cultivation base was at the Saint Celestial stage or above. Let alone those at the fourth form of the Saint Celestial stage or above, they might not even have a powerhouse at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage. If that was the case, what did he have to fear? Duan Lingtian was currently ranked at the 421st place on the Supreme Saint ranking. Although it was due to the Celestial Supreme Treasure, the Jasper Celestial Sword, it was still a part of his strength. Let's begin then. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Hua Lao no longer hesitated. He called out to Duan Lingtian and cooperated with Duan Lingtian to devour Dongfang Zhu's innate spiritual root. It's only a yellow innate spiritual root. Soon after, Hua Lao's voice rang in the air. It's fine. No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. Let's slowly accumulate it. Duan Lingtian replied indifferently. Chapter 2068. Sush, sush, sush. In the eyes of the customers in the restaurant, a whirlpool suddenly appeared around Duan Lingtian's hand that was holding Dongfang Zhu's fist. The rapid vortex twisted in the void, causing the air to become turbulent. It was as if a stone had been smashed into a calm surface of water, causing circles of ripples to appear. Ah! The moment the vortex appeared, everyone heard a heart-wrenching scream. It was Dongfang Zhu's scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. Right now, Dongfang Zhu's face was extremely hideous. His facial features were completely twisted together, and his entire body was trembling violently. It was as if he was enduring some kind of extreme pain. The pain made Dongfang Zhu's eyes bulge. What's he doing? This purple-clad young man seems to have some tricks up his sleeve. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to cause the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan to be in such pain. Judging from the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan's expression and his cries, it's as though he's in inhuman pain. I wonder how the purple-clad young man is doing this. There seems to be a powerful divine consciousness fluctuation between them. Could it be that he's using a soul attack to torture the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan? That's possible. While Duan Lingtian was fearlessly devouring Dongfang Zhu's innate spiritual root, the customers in the restaurant were in an uproar. Many of them were shocked by Duan Lingtian's mysterious technique. Many of them sensed a powerful divine consciousness fluctuation. They guessed Duan Lingtian was using a soul attack to torture Dongfang Zhu. However, they did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so powerful. They did not expect Duan Lingtian would know how to devour other people's innate spiritual roots to strengthen his own innate spiritual root. They did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so powerful. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was using this technique to devour Dongfang Zhu's innate spiritual root. The white-clad woman standing next to Duan Lingtian, the young miss of Clarity City's Chiu clan, Chiu Muqing, was shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength. Now that she had seen Dongfang Zhu in so much pain at the hands of Duan Lingtian, she couldn't help but feel pity for him. Dongfang Zhu continued to scream in agony. A miserable cry that was like a pig being slaughtered entered into the ears of all the customers in the restaurant, and it caused their hair to stand on end as if they felt the same way. Right now, apart from Dongfang Zhu himself, no one else could understand his pain. The pain he felt now didn't come from his body, but from his soul. At this moment, Dongfang Zhu felt as if his soul was on fire. A terrifying force was pulling out a part of his soul, making him feel as if his soul was being refined. Fortunately, there was one thing. That terrifying power came quickly and left quickly as well. After a short while, his soul returned to normal. He heaved a long sigh of relief, but his robes were drenched in sweat. At the same time, he was panting heavily, feeling as if he had just taken a trip around the gates of hell. Bang! Dong Fangzhu was still panting when another loud sound rang in the air. Duan Lingtian had let go of Dong Fangzhu's fist and sent him flying with a palm strike. Dong Fangzhu was completely unprepared when he was sent flying through the window and landed on the street outside. A commotion broke out on the street immediately. Many people recognized Dong Fangzhu. Isn't that the second young master of the Dong Fang clan? Why is he in such a wretched state? I think he flew out of the restaurant. From the looks of it, he seems to have suffered a great loss. In Clarity City, I'm afraid only the lineal disciples of the Feng clan would dare to do this to the second young master of the Dong Fang clan. I wonder which young genius from the Feng clan did this. A group of people surrounded Dong Fangzhu and discussed among themselves. They were all shocked by Dong Fangzhu's encounter. It was rare to see the second young master of the Dong Fang clan being tortured like this. Barf. After spitting out a large mouthful of blood, Dong Fangzhu viciously glanced back at the restaurant behind him and left in a sorry state as the onlookers pointed at him. No matter who you are, Dong Fangzhu, won't let you go today. You're going to die. Dong Fangzhu, who was on his way back to the Dong Fang family's residence, secretly hardened his heart. He was prepared to return to the Dong Fang family and complain to his father. He wanted his father to send experts from the family to help him get back his face. He wanted to kill the purple-clad young man to avenge the humiliation he had suffered earlier. Meanwhile, in the restaurant, Duan Lingtian, who had sent Dong Fangzhu flying with just a palm strike, sat down gracefully under the watchful eyes of the customers in the restaurant. Miss Chiu, please take a seat. At the same time, Duan Lingtian gestured for Chiu Muqing to take a seat. Chiu Muqing only regained her senses when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. When she looked at Duan Lingtian again, there was no longer a hint of joy in her eyes. Instead, there was a hint of worry in her eyes. You should leave Clarity City as soon as possible. Dong Fangzhu must have returned to the Dong Fang clan to call for help. You won't be able to leave when the powerhouse from the Dong Fang clan arrives. Chiu Muqing urged Duan Lingtian to leave as soon as she spoke. She had a good impression of this young man who was different from ordinary men. She did not want to see him suffer in the hands of the powerhouse from the Dong Fang clan. Due to this reason, she urged him to leave immediately. The customers in the restaurant nodded when they heard Chiu Muqing's words. They also felt the purple-clad young man should leave. Now was the best time for him to leave. If he left any later, the powerhouse from the Dong Fang clan would definitely arrive. Young Miss Chiu, thank you for your kindness. However, Duan Lingtian shook his head when he heard Chiu Muqing's reminder. I still have something to do in Clarity City. I won't leave for the time being. That was right. He had come to Clarity City to find out more about the villains in the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. Naturally, he would not leave until he found out more about them. The Dong Fang clan? Duan Lingtian did not care about a mere third-rate force in the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. Waiter, give me another set of cutlery. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, Duan Lingtian called out to the restaurant's waiter and asked him to add another set of chopsticks and bowls. Duan Lingtian had his own cutlery, so he must have asked the waiter to get another set of cutlery for Chiu Muqing. Is he not afraid of death? This was the thought running through the minds of the customers and the waiter in the restaurant. Waiter, there's no need for that. Chiu Muqing stopped the waiter when he was hesitating if he should get another set of cutlery. At the same time, she raised her hand and placed a few saint stones on the table as payment for Duan Lingtian's dishes. Come with me. Chiu Muqing grabbed Duan Lingtian's hand at lightning speed after she placed the saint stones on the table. She led Duan Lingtian out of the restaurant in a hurry. At this moment, she seemed to have forgotten that men and women should not touch each other. Duan Lingtian was in a daze when he was forcefully dragged out of the restaurant by Chiu Muqing. He even forgot to reject her. He was shocked by Chiu Muqing's actions. Just now, why didn't he see that this noble lady had such a valiant side? Chiu Muqing held Duan Lingtian's hand as they left the restaurant in a hurry. Naturally, they attracted the attention of many people on the street. Isn't that the young miss of the Chiu clan? The young miss of the Chiu clan? The most beautiful woman in Clarity City? It's really her. Heavens! What did I just see? The young miss of the Chiu clan is holding a man's hand? Didn't they say she's going to be engaged to Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Dongfang family? What's going on here? It seems like Dongfang Zhu was chased out of the restaurant earlier. Now, the young miss of the Chiu clan is holding a man's hand. Could it be that the person who chased Dongfang Zhu out of the restaurant wasn't from the Feng clan, but the man holding the young miss of the Chiu clan's hand? The passers-by discussed among themselves when they saw Chiu Muqing leaving with Duan Lingtian. Many men were pounding their chests and stamping their feet. They felt as though their hearts had been shattered. Chiu Muqing, the young miss of the Chiu clan, was the most beautiful woman in Clarity City. However, she had taken the initiative to hold a man's hand. No wonder the young miss of the Chiu clan was unwilling to marry Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Dongfang family. As it turns out, she already has someone in her heart. Many of the passers-by speculated. However, as the customers left the restaurant, the passers-by began to learn more about what had happened. That purple-clad young man didn't know the young miss of the Chiu clan at all? Are you sure? Does this mean the young miss of the Chiu clan fell in love with the purple-clad young man at first sight? She would rather sit next to a stranger than sit next to Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Dongfang family. Poor Dongfang Zhu. He was defeated by a stranger. If that's the case, Dongfang Zhu is really pitiful. However, why do I feel like this isn't the first day the young miss of the Chiu clan met the purple-clad young man? I think it's not the first day they met. Perhaps, they knew each other beforehand and pretended not to know each other in front of Dongfang Zhu. Otherwise, why would the young miss of the Chiu clan take the initiative to hold his hand? The passers-by found it hard to believe Chiu Muqing, the young miss of the Chiu clan, would take the initiative to hold a man's hand. Even Chiu Muqing did not expect she would take the initiative to hold a man's hand one day. Chiu Muqing held Duan Lingtian's hand and led him away from the restaurant. After they entered a secluded alley, Chiu Muqing finally relaxed. Chapter 2069. Chiu Muqing's beautiful face blushed when she let go of Duan Lingtian's hand. Even her neck seemed to be affected by the blush. She seemed to be even more embarrassed. Earlier, when she heard Duan Lingtian was unwilling to leave Clarity City, she did not know why, but she felt anxious. When Duan Lingtian asked the restaurant's waiter to refill her bowl and chopsticks, she could not suppress the anxiety in her heart. Not only did she immediately stop the waiter, but she also hurriedly pulled Duan Lingtian's hand and held his hand as they left after paying the bill for him. At that moment, her heart was burning with anxiety. She had completely thrown all the things like men and women should not touch each other and a woman's reserve to the back of her mind. Now that she thought about it, she was certain. Today was definitely the craziest day in her life. She actually took the initiative to hold a man's hand. Moreover, it was a man whose name she did not even know. If this was before, she would not have believed she would be so crazy. However, the truth was right in front of her eyes. She had no choice but to believe it. Could it be that I've fallen for him? At the same time, a thought appeared in Chiu Muqing's mind, but she quickly dismissed it. Impossible. This is my first time seeing him. How can I possibly fall for him? Even if he's different from other men, I only have a good impression of him. I don't think I like him. I don't think I like him at all. Chiu Muqing tried to justify her earlier actions. When Chiu Muqing let go of his hand, she was so embarrassed that she wanted to dig a hole in the ground and hide in it. Cough cough. Duan Lingtian let out a few dry coughs to break the awkward atmosphere. Miss Chiu, where are you bringing me? You're no longer safe in Clarity City. You should leave Clarity City. Chiu Muqing regained her senses when she heard Duan Lingtian's voice. However, she did not dare to look at Duan Lingtian. Don't worry. I'll be fine. Duan Lingtian felt warmth in his heart when he sensed Chiu Muqing's concern for him. He smiled faintly and said, "Moreover, I really have something to do in Clarity City, so I can't leave for now. If that's the case, then follow me back to the Chiu family." Chiu Muqing did not try to dissuade Duan Lingtian. She pondered for a moment before she said, Duan Lingtian's stubbornness. As soon as Chiu Mu Qing finished speaking, she seemed to have thought of something. The redness on her face returned to normal as she explained. That you don't misunderstand. I just feel that. I feel that the conflict between you and Dongfang Zhu was entirely because of me, so I don't want anything to happen to you. Although Chiu Mu Qing tried to explain to Duan Lingtian, she felt that her explanation was useless. I don't think there's a need for that. Duan Lingtian knew Chiu Mu Qing meant well, but he rejected her tactfully. After all, he was not afraid of the Eastern Fang family at all. It would be fine if the Eastern Fang family did not come looking for trouble with him. Otherwise, he would not hesitate. No matter how many people came looking for him, he would kill them all. I'll feel uneasy if you don't follow me back. Come back with me. If you follow me back to the Chiu family, I'll inform my father that you're a guest of the Chiu family. Chiu Mu Qing became anxious when she saw Duan Lingtian had rejected her suggestion. If you're a guest of the Chiu family, even the clan leader of the Eastern Fang family won't dare to do anything to you. The Chiu family isn't afraid of the Eastern Fang family. All right, I'll follow you back. Duan Lingtian's heart softened when he saw Chiu Mu Qing was so anxious that she was about to cry. He agreed to Chiu Mu Qing's request without hesitation. Chiu Mu Qing's kindness touched Duan Lingtian's heart. She was a good girl after all. A bright smile appeared on Chiu Mu Qing's face when she heard Duan Lingtian's reply. She looked like a child who had just snatched a piece of candy. Chiu Mu Qing's charm increased when she smiled. Even Duan Lingtian, who was caught off guard, fell into a daze. Let's go. Chiu Mu Qing's face flushed when she saw Duan Lingtian's gaze. She called out to Duan Lingtian and brought Duan Lingtian back to the Chiu clan. Young Mississippi, a few Chiu clan's disciples who were guarding the entrance of the Chiu clan's estate bowed respectfully when they saw Chiu Mu Qing. All right. Chiu Mu Qing nodded at them before she called out to Duan Lingtian and entered the Chiu clan's estate. At this moment, the Chiu clan's disciples finally noticed Duan Lingtian. They were shocked. After a long while, they finally regained their senses. Naturally, they were shocked when they regained their senses. Heavens! Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Young Miss brought a man back? I'm not dreaming, am I? Is she really the young Miss of Chiu clan? Who's that man? The young Miss actually brought him back to the Chiu clan. It seems like their relationship is not ordinary. The Chiu clan's disciples looked at each other. Their voices were filled with shock and disbelief. After all, the young Miss of Chiu clan had only brought a man back. She had never been so intimate with a man before. Even if she had gone out with Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Dongfang clan, she had been forced to do so. As Chiu clan's disciples, they knew this very well. However, not only had the young Miss of Chiu clan been intimate with a man, but she had even brought him back to the Chiu clan. To them, this was definitely a very shocking and inconceivable thing. Let alone the Chiu clan's disciples who were guarding the entrance, even the Chiu clan's disciples, servants, and maids were shocked when they saw Chiu Mu Qing bringing Duan Lingtian into the Chiu clan's estate. The young miss brought a strange man back to the clan? For a time, this unbelievable news spread like wildfire in the Chiu family, causing quite a stir in the Chiu family. After Chiu Mu Qing brought Duan Lingtian back to the Chiu clan, she arranged for Duan Lingtian to stay in a room in her residence. As the young miss of Chiu clan, Chiu Mu Qing had her own independent residence in the Chiu clan's estate. There were many rooms in the residence. Apart from the maids' rooms, there were also rooms for guests. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was the first guest in Chiu Mu Qing's residence. Young Miss Chiu, is it appropriate for you to arrange for me to stay in your residence? This won't affect your reputation, right? Duan Lingtian asked with a wry smile on his face. Why don't you just arrange for me to stay outside? Duan Lingtian suggested after a wry smile on his face. Although he knew Chiu Mu Qing had good intentions, and he was not afraid of the Eastern Fang clan, he did not want to ruin this kind woman's reputation. The Dao Martial Saint Land was similar to Earth in his past life. A woman's reputation was extremely important. It's all right. Don't worry and stay here. I'll go look for my father and greet him. From now on, you're my friend and a guest of the Chiu clan. Chiu Mu-ching blushed when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. She bade farewell to Duan Lingtian and instructed a few maids to take care of Duan Lingtian before she left in a hurry. A warm feeling rose in Duan Lingtian's heart when he saw Chiu Mu-ching's departing figure. The maids looked at Duan Lingtian in shock and disbelief. This was their first time seeing their young miss bringing a man back to the Chiu clan. Moreover, she had arranged for him to stay in her residence. If news of this spread out, their young miss would not be able to get married. I'm Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian transmitted his voice to Chiu Mu-ching when she was about to disappear from his sight. Chiu Mu-ching had done so much for him. He could not possibly hide his name from her, right? Duan Lingtian. Chiu Mu-ching's eyes lit up when she heard the name, and the blush on her face deepened. Chiu Mu-ching went to look for her father, the clan leader of Chiu clan. At the center of Clarity City, outside the restaurant that Chiu Mu-ching and Duan Lingtian had just left, a tall and sturdy figure, escorted by 2 servants, arrived near the restaurant. I can't believe the most beautiful woman in Clarity City, Chiu Mu-ching, has been taken by someone just like that. At the same time, a voice rang in the ears of the tall and sturdy middle-aged man. His eyes lit up immediately. Qing, and Dongfang Zhu have made progress? That's great. In that case, our Chiu clan will be able to form a perfect alliance with the Eastern Fang clan. We won't have to be afraid of the Feng clan anymore. The tall and sturdy middle-aged man was none other than Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan. He was the one who strongly advocated the marriage between the Chiu clan and the Eastern Fang clan. Even when Chiu Mu-ching was forced to go on a date with Dongfang Zhu, he was the one who instigated the clan leader of Chiu clan to do Chiu Mu-ching's work with him. Chiu Mu-ching was a filial daughter. When she saw her father in a difficult position, she decided to go along with it. However, she would rather die than marry Dongfang Zhu. She only went out with Dongfang Zhu because she did not want to put her father in a difficult position. Moreover, she also wanted to deal with the second master of Chiu clan, Chiu Gang-yi. She, Chiu Mu-ching, was a person, not an item. Nobody could force her to do something she did not want to do. What? It's not Dongfang Zhu? It's the man who tortured Dongfang Zhu? Chapter 2070. Not too long ago, a stranger had beaten up Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang family, in front of Chiu Mu-ching and everyone else. Moreover, Chiu Mu-ching had even held the stranger's hand and left the restaurant in a swaggering manner. Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, almost fainted from anger when he learned about this. His face had turned green from anger. In the end, his face turned purple. Chiu Gang-yi's eyes were wide open as he said in a deep voice, Chiu Mu-ching is getting more and more presumptuous. Could it be that she doesn't know her actions will push our Chiu clan to the opposite side of the Dongfang clan? Let's go. Let's return to the clan. Chiu Gang-yi took a deep breath and called out to the servants behind him. Then, he looked in the direction of the Chiu clan's estate coldly. I'm going back to the clan to ask Chiu Mu-ching what kind of man he is for her to disregard her manners and hold his hand in front of so many people. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly as he thought to himself, I'm going to ask Chiu Mu-ching what kind of man he is. After this incident, the marriage between the Chiu clan and the Eastern Fang family will be ruined. There's no way the Eastern Fang family will accept a woman whose reputation has been tarnished. Chiu Gang-yi's expression darkened when he thought about this. After all, a clan like the Eastern Fang family valued their reputation the most. Today, the young miss of the Chiu clan, Chiu Mu-ching, held a man's hand as they left the restaurant. Many people had seen this. This was enough to tarnish her reputation. For a powerful clan like the Eastern Fang family, there was no way they would accept such a woman. Chiu Mu-ching has been spoiled by the clan leader. It's one thing for her to cause trouble, but this time, she's done something so disgraceful. She's even destroyed the good relationship between the Chiu clan and the Dongfang clan that we've built over the years. Even if the clan leader wants to protect her, he won't be able to protect her. She must be severely punished. Chiu Gang-yi's expression darkened as he made his way back to the Chiu clan's estate. At this moment, He was still unaware Chiu Mu-ching had brought the stranger back to the Chiu clan and allowed him to stay in her own independent residence. Second Master! Second Master! A few Chiu clan's disciples who were guarding the entrance of the Chiu clan's estate bowed respectfully when they saw Chiu Gang-yi. You guys, have you seen eldest miss? Is she back? Chiu Gang-yi asked a few clan's disciples. One's disciple nodded. Not only did she come back, eldest miss also brought back a guest. Another Chiu Gang's disciples. Guest? Chiu Gang-yi narrowed his eyes when he heard what the Chiu clan disciple said. His breathing quickened as he asked coldly, the person the first miss brought back? Is he a young man in purple? Now, Chiu Gang-yi's tone was even colder, making people feel as if they had fallen into an ice cave. Master, the Chiu clan's disciples hurriedly nodded when they heard Chiu Gang-yi's strange tone. Did the second master know the young man the young miss brought back? Rebellion! Rebellion! Chiu Gang-yi almost fainted from anger when he heard the Chiu clan's disciples' confirmation. He took a few deep breaths to calm himself down. In his opinion, Chiu Gang-yi was furious. Earlier, Chiu Mu-ching had brought the stranger who had humiliated the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, Dong Fangzhu, out of the restaurant. She had openly offended the Eastern Fang clan and pushed the Chiu clan to the opposite side of the Eastern Fang clan. However, Chiu Mu-ching had brought the stranger who had humiliated Dong Fangzhu back to the Chiu clan. Would the Chiu clan and the Eastern Fang clan still have room to maneuver? Chiu Gang-yi's face turned green again. The Chiu clan's disciples who were guarding the entrance did not even dare to breathe loudly. Following that, Chiu Gang-yi made a move and strode into the Chiu clan's mansion. His aura was fierce as though he was going to interrogate someone. When Chiu Gang-yi returned to the Chiu clan, Dong Fangzhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, had arrived at the restaurant in the center of Clarity City. However, Dong Fangzhu did not come alone this time. Beside him were two old men in gray. They were the helpers that he had found in the Dongfang clan. They were also the elders of the Dongfang clan. They left. After entering the restaurant, Dong Fangzhu discovered the purple-clad young man who had humiliated him, and the young miss of the Chiu clan, Chiu Mu-ching, had left. He had returned too late. Dong Fangzhu's expression darkened immediately. Why is that fellow so cowardly? He left just like that? However, he soon learned from the customers in the restaurant that Chiu Mu-ching had persuaded the purple-clad young man to leave. When the purple-clad young man did not intend to leave, Chiu Mu-ching had held his hand and left the restaurant in front of everyone. Chiu Mu-ching held that fellow's hand and left? Initially, Dong Fangzhu found it hard to believe. He was certain Chiu Mu-ching didn't know that man before today, unlike the others who thought she had known him for a long time. How could Chiu Mu-ching hold the hand of a man she did not know before today? The first thing that came to his mind when he heard this was impossible. However, when he heard the customer's confirmation, he recalled Chiu Mu-ching's shy expression in front of the purple-clad young man. Although he was unwilling to believe it, he had no choice but to believe it. Slut. Slut. Dong Fangzhu was so infuriated that he almost vomited blood as he cursed out loud. He did not expect Chiu Mu-ching would be so rude. He did not expect Chiu Mu-ching, who had always been pure and innocent, to be so slutty in front of a man she did not know. For a moment, Dong Fangzhu was so angry that he couldn't control his anger. Chiu Mu-ching is so shameless. She's not worthy of being a member of the Eastern Fang clan. The two elders of the Dongfang family who came with Dong Fangzhu were furious when they heard the words of the customers in the restaurant. They felt Chiu Mu-ching's actions were like a slap to the face of the Eastern Fang clan. At this moment, in Clarity City, was there anyone who did not know the Eastern Fang clan and the Chiu clan were going to have a marriage alliance? Was there anyone who did not know the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, Dong Fangzhu, and the eldest miss of the Chiu clan, Chiu Mu-ching? However, today, Chiu Mu-ching had disregarded the most important thing for a woman and hooked up with a wild man in public. This was a great humiliation to the Eastern Fang clan. Dong Fangzhu and the two elders from the Eastern Fang clan were still furious when they heard the news from the Chiu clan. Chiu Mu-ching, the eldest miss of the Chiu clan, brought a purple-clad man back to the Chiu clan. She even allowed him to stay in her own mansion. The three elders from the Eastern Fang clan were furious when Chiu Muqing held another man's hand in public. They felt Chiu Muqing was humiliating the Eastern Fang clan and slapping the Eastern Fang clan's face. But now, when they heard this news, they were instantly enraged to the point that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Slut! Slut! Dongfang Zhu continued to curse. His eyes shone viciously as he roared inwardly, I, Dongfang Zhu, swear that even if I can't marry you, I'll make you beg for mercy under my crotch. I'll make you regret what you've done today. Chiu Muqing, the Chiu clan. Very good. Very good. At this moment, even the two elders from the Eastern Fang clan were furious. At the same time, they could clearly sense the strange gazes from the customers in the restaurant. They were so embarrassed that they wished they could dig a hole in the ground and hide. Naturally, they knew Chiu Muqing's actions had humiliated the Eastern Fang clan. As members of the Eastern Fang clan, it was only natural that they were humiliated as well. Second young master, let's return to the clan. This matter is no longer your personal matter, it's the Eastern Fang clan's matter. Chiu Muqing and the Chiu clan have gone too far. They've gone too far. Soon after, one of the elders from the Eastern Fang clan called out to Dongfang Zhu before he flew out of the restaurant. He did not want to stay in the restaurant any longer. Chiu clan, Chiu Muqing. Very good. Very good. The other elder of the Dongfang family was also enraged to the extreme. He once again said, very good, with a hint of sarcasm, then followed behind the elder of the Dongfang family and left. After the two elders of the Dongfang family left, Dongfang Zhu, whose face was twisted into a hideous expression, also left the restaurant in a dejected manner. Similarly, he could not stand the gazes from the customers in the restaurant. The Eastern Fang clan has really embarrassed themselves this time. After the three people from the Dongfang family left, the group of customers in the restaurant no longer had to suppress the thoughts in their hearts. One of them took the lead to sigh. Isn't that so? Everyone in Clarity City knows the Eastern Fang clan and the Chiu clan are going to have a marriage alliance. The Chiu clan's marriage partner is the young miss of the Chiu clan, Chiu Muqing. Today, Chiu Muqing's actions have completely ruined the marriage alliance. It's said that Chiu Muqing didn't want to agree to the marriage alliance in the first place. This is exactly what she wanted. Even so, her actions today are like a slap to the Eastern Fang clan's face. Her actions today are an unbearable humiliation to the Eastern Fang clan. That's right. If the Eastern Fang clan doesn't do anything to salvage the situation, they'll become the laughingstock of Clarity City. Initially, the customers in the restaurant were the only ones who were talking about the incident. It wasn't long before the entire Clarity City was filled with similar discussions. Chapter 2071. The three men from the Eastern Fang clan, including Dongfang Zhu, quickly returned to the Eastern Fang clan's mansion after they left the restaurant. They immediately went to look for the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan, Dongfang Zhu's father. Dongfang Qian. Father! Dongfang Zhu was furious when he saw Dongfang Qian. He complained agitatedly, Chiu Muqing, the young miss of the Chiu clan, and the Chiu clan have gone too far. They've gone too far. What happened? Dongfang Qian's expression darkened when he saw his son losing his composure. He could not help but frown. About half an hour ago, his son had come to look for him and asked for two of the Eastern Fang clan's powerhouses at the peak of the quintessential saint stage. They were the two Eastern Fang clan's elders who were standing behind Dongfang Zhu. However, he did not expect that his son would bring people back not long after he left with them. Moreover, he even said that Chiu Muqing and the Chiu clan had gone too far. Father, I wanted to bring the two elders to teach that fellow a lesson. However, when we returned to the restaurant, that fellow had already left with Chiu Muqing. Dongfang Zhu's expression was unsightly as he continued to say, moreover, Chiu Muqing was the one who held that fellow's hand as they left. After that, we heard that Chiu Muqing brought that fellow back to the Chiu clan and arranged for him to stay in her mansion. As far as I know, her independent mansion has never accepted an outsider to live in since the beginning. That fellow was the first person she had ever accepted. Dong Fangzhu's eyes were bloodshot when he spoke. It was obvious he knew Chiu Mu-ching very well. It was exactly because of this that he was so furious. Chiu Mu-ching had always been his woman. However, she had taken the initiative to hold another man's hand and even brought him back to her mansion. Dong Fangzhu felt like he was going crazy when he thought about this. What? Dong Fangqian's expression darkened when he heard Dong Fangzhu's words. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Chiu Mu-ching actually did something so immoral? Clan leader! One of the Eastern Fang clan's elders who had returned with Dong Fangzhu said angrily, Chiu Mu-ching and the Chiu clan have gone too far. Currently, there's no one in Clarity City who doesn't know Chiu Mu-ching from the Chiu clan is going to become your daughter-in-law. Her actions today are an insult to the Dongfang clan. Yes, Patriarch. Another elder from the Dongfang clan said angrily, if our Dongfang clan doesn't handle this matter well, I'm afraid our Dongfang clan won't be able to hold our heads high in Clarity City in the future. At that time, no one will put our Dongfang family in their eyes. This matter must be handled properly. Dong Fangqian's eyes flashed coldly as he looked at the two elders from the Eastern Fang clan and asked, Elders, what do you think about this matter? Clan leader, I suggest you personally lead a team to the Chiu clan to denounce them. We must ask the Chiu clan and Chiu Mu-ching to give us an explanation for what happened today. One of the elders from the Eastern Fang clan said in a deep voice. Apart from that, the Chiu clan must also hand over Chiu Mu-ching and the purple-clad young man to the Eastern Fang clan for punishment. Moreover, the Chiu clan must agree to the Eastern Fang clan's request to annul the engagement. That's right. The other elder from the Eastern Fang clan nodded in agreement. News of Chiu Mu-ching's actions must have spread in Clarity City. If we accept her, we'll become the laughing stock of Clarity City. For this reason, the engagement must be annulled by the Eastern Fang clan. The Eastern Fang clan must tell everyone in Clarity City that it's us who rejected Chiu Mu-ching. It's not Chiu Mu-ching who looked down on us. As the Dongfang family elder spoke, his words fell to the ground with conviction. I'll definitely lead a team to denounce the Chiu clan for this matter. Otherwise, do they really think there's no one in the Eastern Fang clan? Dong Fangqian said coldly, as for annulling the engagement, that's a must as well. There's no way the Eastern Fang clan will accept such a woman. It shouldn't be difficult for the Chiu clan to hand over the purple-clad young man. However, I'm afraid it won't be easy for the Chiu clan to hand over Chiu Mu-ching. That shameless girl is the lifeblood of the Chiu clan's patriarch, Chiu En-ping. It's impossible for him to hand her over. Dong Fangqian frowned when he reached the end of his sentence. Father, we must make the Chiu clan hand over that slut Chiu Mu-ching. Right at that moment, Dong Fangzhu interjected. Dong Fangzhu's eyes shone with a cold and lecherous gleam when he spoke. He could not wait to capture Chiu Mu-ching and bring her to the Eastern Fang clan for him to do whatever he wanted with her. He wanted to possess the woman he wanted even in his dreams, even if it was impossible for him to marry her. Zhu, I understand how you feel, but it's impossible for the Chiu clan to hand over Chiu Mu-ching. Dong Fangqian said to Dong Fangzhu. Second young master, the clan leader is right. At the same time, an elder from the Eastern Fang clan standing next to Dong Fangzhu said, Chiu Mu-ching is Chiu En-ping's only daughter. He's willing to risk his life for Chiu Mu-ching. For this reason, it's impossible for the Chiu clan to hand over Chiu Mu-ching. Second young master, we know you hate Chiu Mu-ching, but it's impossible for the Chiu clan to hand her over. Another elder from the Eastern Fang clan chimed in. Dong Fangzhu fell silent when he heard this. Actually, how could he not know this? However, he was still unwilling to accept this. Naturally, he knew it was impossible for him to change this fact even if he was unwilling to accept it. Zhu, I promise you, after this incident, I'll find an opportunity to secretly kidnap Chiu Mu-ching and bring her to you so you can do whatever you want with her. This time, you can vent your anger on that purple-clad young man first. Dong Fangqian felt sorry for his son, so he quickly comforted him. Dong Fangzhu's eyes lit up when he heard Dong Fangqian's words. He quickly expressed his gratitude. Thank you, father. The three of you wait in the front courtyard. I'll look for the Grand Elder and the Second Elder to tell them about this." Soon after, Dongfang Qian said, "I believe they'll be as angry as we are about Qiu Muqing's actions and the Qiu clan's indulgence of her actions. I'll meet up with all of you after I've told them about this." As soon as Dongfang Qian finished speaking, he disappeared in front of Dongfang Zhu and the other two elders. As a powerhouse at the first form of the Saint Celestial stage, his speed was so fast that Dongfang Zhu and the other two elders could not even catch a glimpse of him. However, after Dongfang Qian left, they obediently waited in the front courtyard of the Eastern Fang clan's estate. Just as Dongfang Qian had said, the Grand Elder and the Second Elder of the Eastern Fang clan were furious when they heard about Qiu Muqing's actions. After all, Qiu Muqing's actions had crossed the line of the Eastern Fang clan. Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan, brought the Grand Elder, the Second Elder, and the generals of the Eastern Fang clan out of the Eastern Fang clan's estate after they met up with Dongfang Zhu and the other two elders. They flew in the direction of the Qiu clan's estate. Along the way, the group of people who were in a hurry naturally attracted the attention of many passers-by. "Isn't that Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan?" Many passers-by raised their heads and looked at the group of people flying across the sky. Their faces were full of surprise. The Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Eastern Fang clan, Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, is here as well. They're flying in the direction of the Qiu clan's estate. It seems like they're going to the Qiu clan to denounce them. Many people had heard about Qiu Muqing's actions today. Therefore, they could guess why Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan, had brought the people from the Eastern Fang clan to the Eastern Fang clan. Come to think of it, the eldest young miss of the Qiu clan is really bold. Not only did she protect the person who humiliated the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, but she even brought him back to the Qiu clan and allowed him to stay in her independent mansion. Isn't it obvious that she has a special relationship with that person? Qiu Muqing's actions are like a slap to the Eastern Fang clan's face. It's no wonder Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan, personally made a move. It seems like the power structure in Clarity City is going to change soon. After this incident, the Qiu clan and the Eastern Fang clan are no longer on the same side. This is going to give the Feng clan an opportunity to take advantage of this. From today onward, the Feng clan will be the sole ruler of Clarity City. A woman has destroyed two clans. She's really a femme fatale. The man Qiu Muqing brought back to the Qiu clan is going to lose a layer of skin even if he doesn't die. Many people could not help but discuss among themselves when they saw the people from the Eastern Fang clan making their way to the Qiu clan's estate. Based on their words, they felt Qiu Muqing was a femme fatale. At the same time, they felt Duan Lingtian, the purple-clad young man Qiu Muqing brought back to the Qiu clan, was going to suffer. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of the commotion outside. At this moment, Duan Lingtian and Qiu Muqing, the young miss of Qiu clan, had just returned from visiting the clan leader of Qiu clan, Qiu and Ping. They were sitting at a stone table in the pavilion in the front yard of Qiu Muqing's mansion. "Miss Qiu, you didn't tell your father my name, right?" Suddenly, Duan Lingtian seemed to have recalled something, and he could not help but ask. After Qiu Muqing left, Duan Lingtian realized his name was a burden to others as well. Chapter 2072. Although the high-ranking officials of Zoroastrianism whom he had offended were not very powerful, it would not be difficult for them to annihilate a third-rate force like the Qiu clan. For this reason, after he told Qiu Muqing his name, he regretted not reminding Qiu Muqing not to tell anyone else his name. This included her father, the clan leader of Qiu clan. No. Although Qiu Muqing did not know why Duan Lingtian asked this question, she shook her head immediately and said, "I just went to see my father. I just went to find my father and told him everything that happened today. He should be at the Great Elder's place now, discussing with the Great Elder how to deal with the Dongfang family. However, he promised me that he'll protect you. You can stay in the Qiu clan. You don't have to worry about the Eastern Fang clan." Chiu Mu-ching comforted Duan Ling-tian when she reached the end of her sentence. Miss Chiu, you don't have to worry about the Eastern Fong clan. I, Duan Ling-tian, am not afraid of the Eastern Fong clan. Duan Ling-tian said nonchalantly. However, his expression turned solemn as soon as he finished speaking. He quickly reminded Chiu Mu-ching, however, from now on, please don't tell anyone my name, including your father, Miss Chiu. Naturally, Chiu Mu-ching did not take Duan Ling-tian's words seriously. Although she had witnessed Duan Ling-tian's strength, she knew Duan Ling-tian was not weak. However, she did not think Duan Ling-tian was strong enough to deal with the entire Eastern Fong clan. At the very least, she did not think Duan Ling-tian was strong enough to deal with the entire Eastern Fong clan. However, Chiu Mu-ching was stunned when she heard Duan Ling-tian's words. She could not figure out why Duan Ling-tian was hiding his name. In the end, Chiu Mu-ching decided not to voice her doubts. After all, everyone had their own secrets. She believed Duan Ling-tian must have his reasons for saying so. He must have some special circumstances that made it inconvenient for him to reveal his name for the time being. All right. Chiu Mu-ching nodded and said, don't worry, I won't tell anyone your name without your permission. Upon hearing Chiu Mu-ching's words, Duan Ling-tian nodded with a smile. He was not afraid no matter how much trouble he caused in Clarity City. However, he did not plan to reveal his name in Clarity City. This was because he was worried that once his name was exposed, the 3 high-ranking officials from the fire worship sect whom he had offended would know that he had come to Clarity City and had a relationship with the Chiu clan, one of the 3 major clans in Clarity City. Duan Ling-tian, the Vice Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall, Dong Yuanjin, the Vice Hall Master. However, he was 100% certain about the Black Turtle Sanctum's first Silver Flame Elder Lian. If Lian found out he had a relationship with the Chiu clan in Clarity City, he would definitely make a move against the Chiu clan. At that time, Chiu Mu-ching would definitely be implicated. For this reason, Duan Ling-tian asked Chiu Mu-ching not to tell anyone his name. This way, he would be able to avoid future troubles. No matter how high profile he was in Clarity City, no one would associate him with Duan Ling-tian, the second most popular prodigy among the younger generation of the Zoroastrianism. You. After a moment of silence, Duan Ling-tian and Chiu Mu-ching spoke at the same time, trying to break the silence. However, even though they spoke at the same time, when they looked at each other, they spoke in unison. However, since both of them spoke at the same time, they did not continue. You first. After a short moment, the 2 of them opened their mouths again and spoke in unison. Those who did not know might think that they had rehearsed this thousands of times. Otherwise, how could they be able to speak in unison twice in such a short period of time? Duan Ling-tian was still in a daze when Chiu Mu-ching chuckled. Her beautiful cheeks were flushed red as she shyly smiled like a young girl. When Duan Ling-tian was about to speak, a dark voice sounded from outside. A gloomy voice suddenly sounded from outside. It dispelled Duan Ling-tian's intention to speak. Chiu Mu-ching. His gloomy voice was mixed with a bit of anger as it came from afar. Duan Ling-tian could not help but frown. The smile on Chiu Mu-ching's face disappeared and was replaced by a displeased expression. At the same time, Duan Ling-tian heard a series of heavy footsteps approaching. It was a tall and sturdy middle-aged man. He led a group of people into Chiu Mu-ching's independent residence in a menacing manner. It was obvious they did not come with good intentions. The group of people behind the middle-aged man consisted of old men, middle-aged men, and young men. Their expressions were grave when they saw Chiu Mu-ching. Many of them were glaring at Chiu Mu-ching as though Chiu Mu-ching had done something unforgivable. Second uncle, elders, what's the meaning of this? Isn't it rude for you to barge in without permission? At this moment, Chiu Mu-ching stood up and walked out of the pavilion. Her expression darkened when she saw the menacing group of people approaching the pavilion. This was Chiu Mu-ching's independent residence, and she was the owner. These people in front of her had trespassed into her residence without her permission. Not only were they being rude, they were also looking down on her. At this moment, the group of people who had barged into Chiu Mu-ching's residence was led by Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan. The people behind Chiu Gang-yi were the elders of Chiu clan. They were the people Chiu Gang-yi had gathered when he returned. These people were the elders of Chiu clan who wanted to force Chiu Mu-ching to marry Dong Fangzhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan. When they learned about Chiu Mu-ching's actions and realized the marriage between the Chiu clan and the Eastern Fang clan had been ruined, they were furious. All of them followed Chiu Gang-yi to denounce Chiu Mu-ching. What? Chiu Mu-ching, you've already decided to destroy the Chiu clan. Are you going to stop us from barging into your residence? Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, looked at Chiu Mu-ching with a dark expression on his face as he said coldly, "Without the Chiu clan, do you think you'll be able to have your own independent mansion? What a joke!" His tone was filled with mockery. Although Chiu Gang-yi was the second master of Chiu clan, he was also a lineal disciple of Chiu clan. Chiu Mu-ching had to address him as second uncle. However, the blood relationship between him and Chiu Mu-ching was extremely weak. His grandfather and the grandfather of Chiu and Ping, the clan leader of Chiu clan, were cousins. Chiu Gang-yi and Chiu and Ping were not related to each other by blood. Moreover, Chiu and Ping's daughter, Chiu Mu-ching, was the younger generation of Chiu and Ping. Naturally, it was not because he wanted to make things difficult for Chiu Mu-ching. In his heart, the Chiu clan's benefit was his priority. He did not care about Chiu Mu-ching's life or death. For this reason, he had instigated the elders of Chiu clan to force Chiu and Ping, the clan leader of Chiu clan, to persuade Chiu Mu-ching to marry into the Eastern Fang clan even though Chiu Mu-ching had made it clear she was unwilling to marry into the Eastern Fang clan. Destroy the Chiu clan? Chiu Mu-ching was stunned when she heard Chiu Gang-yi's words. Then, she asked coldly, "Second uncle, why do you say that?" "Why do I say that?" Chiu Gang-yi smirked. Then, he looked at the purple-clad young man standing next to Chiu Mu-ching who had just walked out of the pergola. He was none other than Duan Ling Tian. He said mockingly, "Is this the wild man you found outside? He's quite good-looking. Unfortunately, he offended the Eastern Fang clan. He's destined to die." The sneer on Chiu Gang-yi's face deepened when he reached the end of his sentence. "Wild man?" Duan Ling Tian frowned when he heard Chiu Gang-yi's words. However, he suppressed his anger and did not do anything. No matter what, the person before him was a member of the Chiu clan. If he acted rashly, he would put Chiu Mu-ching in a difficult position. For this reason, he could only endure it for now. Naturally, he did not have to endure it forever. If he could not endure it, there was no need for him to endure it anymore. Sush. Chiu Mu-ching's expression changed drastically when she heard Chiu Gang-yi's words. She could tolerate it if Chiu Gang-yi insulted her. However, she could not tolerate it if he insulted Duan Ling Tian and her friend. "Chiu Gang, you better watch your mouth." "What wild man? He's my friend." Chiu Mu-ching glared at Chiu Gang. Her voice seemed to have come from an ice cave, causing the temperature in the surroundings to drop a few degrees. This was also the first time she had addressed Chiu Gang-yi by his name. Chiu Gang-yi was stunned when he heard Chiu Mu-ching calling him by his name. However, he was so angry that he laughed. "Good. Very good. It seems like you've grown up. You actually dared to call me, your second uncle, by my name for a wild man. I'll say it again. He's my friend, not a wild man." Chiu Mu-ching's beautiful face was covered in a layer of frost. When she spoke again, her voice was even colder than before. It was so cold that it made one feel as though they had fallen into an ice cave. Based on Chiu Mu-ching's tone, one could tell she was furious. She was furious. "You're Chiu Gang-yi, right?" When Duan Ling Tian saw Chiu Mu-ching's anger, he knew there was no need for him to hold back anymore. He took a step forward and looked at Chiu Gang-yi before he said in a deep voice, "You better listen to Miss Chiu and watch your mouth." Chiu Gang-yi's attention was drawn to Duan Ling Tian as soon as he took a step forward. Chiu Gang-yi was stunned when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words. Then he burst out laughing. After laughing for a while, he finally stopped laughing and looked at Duan Ling Tian with an ice-cold gaze as he said disdainfully, "You're right." He said disdainfully, "Brat, don't think you can do whatever you want in the Chiu clan just because Chiu Mu-ching likes you. You're still too inexperienced in front of me." Chapter 2073. You're still too naive in front of me. Chiao Gang-yi, the second master of Chiao clan, said disdainfully. He looked at Duan Lingtian condescendingly as though he was a superior looking down on a subordinate. Duan Lingtian was displeased by this. You think I'm still too naive in front of you? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. His tone was much deeper than before. If someone familiar with Duan Lingtian was here, they would be able to tell based on Duan Lingtian's reaction that Duan Lingtian was furious. Duan Lingtian was furious. What? Are you doubting my words? Chiao Gang-yi sneered when he saw Duan Lingtian was displeased with his words. His eyes were filled with disdain as he looked at Duan Lingtian. A hint of arrogance could be seen in his eyes. Chiao Gang, that's enough. Chiao Mu-ching, who was standing behind Duan Lingtian, took a step forward and stood next to Duan Lingtian. She raised her beautiful eyebrows, and the coldness on her beautiful face intensified as she spoke in a low voice. Humph. Duan Lingtian snorted as the Sun Saint energy in his body surged. He was ready to teach Chiao Gang-yi a lesson. Was it him or the Dongfang clan who was not to be trifled with? Duan Lingtian's robe fluttered as he prepared to attack. Second Master. At this moment, an anxious voice rang from outside Chiao Mu-ching's residence. Master, you're in the imperial residence. Based on the voice, it was obvious the person was not looking for Chiao Mu-ching. Instead, he was looking for Chiao Gang-yi, the second master of Chiao clan. Chiao Mu-ching's eyes turned even colder when she heard this. Following that, a series of hurried footsteps rang in the air. Duan Lingtian saw a middle-aged man rushing into the residence. A middle-aged man barged in anxiously. He ignored Chiao Mu-ching, the owner of the mansion, and rushed to Chiao Gang-yi's side. Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of the Dongfang clan, has brought his second son, Dongfang Zhu, and the grand elder and second elder of the Dongfang clan to the Chiao clan. They want an explanation from the Chiao clan. The middle-aged man, who was an elder of the Chiao clan, reported. The content of his report could also be summarized into one sentence. The Dongfang clan has come to the Chiao clan. The Dongfang clan? Chiao Gang-yi's expression darkened when he heard the middle-aged man's words. His eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Duan Lingtian and Chiao Mu-ching. The elders of the Chiao family who followed Chiao Gang-yi were shocked. The people from the Dongfang clan are here? Moreover, Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of the Dongfang clan, is personally leading the group? One of the Chiao clan's elders had a grave expression on his face. He glared at Chiao Mu-ching and said in a deep voice, Big sister, look at what you've done. It's one thing if you don't want to marry into the Chiao clan, but you even took in someone who humiliated the second young master of the Dongfang clan. You're playing with fire. You're openly making an enemy out of the Dongfang clan. In Clarity City, who doesn't know that our Chiao clan's eldest sister is going to marry into the Dongfang clan? However, today, our Chiao clan's eldest sister openly held a wild man's hand in front of so many people in Clarity City and even brought him back to our Chiao clan. Another Chiao clan's elder said angrily. Not only did she bring him back to the Chiao clan, but she even placed him in her own residence. This is ridiculous. Another Chiao clan's elder said in a deep voice. We have to hand him over to appease the Dongfang clan. Another Chiao clan's elder looked at Duan Lingtian and said in a deep voice, otherwise, our Chiao clan will become enemies with the Dongfang clan. At that time, the Feng clan will be able to destroy our Chiao clan and the Dongfang clan one by one and remove both of our clans from Clarity City. Humph, don't you think you're being too naive? Even if we hand him over, the Dongfang clan's anger might not be extinguished because of this. After all, this big sister of our Chiao clan gave the Dongfang clan a very resounding slap. The Dongfang clan won't let this matter rest. Some of the elders from the Chiao clan looked at Chiao Mu-ching angrily. It was obvious that they were blaming her. They were blaming Chiao Mu-ching for offending the Dongfang clan. Then we'll hand both of them over. One of the Chiao clan's elders said. When the Chiao clan's elder who had sent a message to Chiao Gang-yi, the second master of Chiao clan, arrived, an uproar broke out. The Chiao clan's elders who had remained silent earlier began to cause a commotion. All of them blamed Chiu Mu-ching as though she had committed a heinous crime. Bring both of them to the main hall and apologize to the clan leader of the Dong Fong clan. We have to give the Dong Fong clan an explanation. At the same time, Chiu Gang-yi ordered the elders from the Chiu clan to bring Duan Lingtian and Chiu Mu-ching to the Chiu clan's main hall to apologize to the clan leader of Dong Fong clan. Ha! At this moment, a loud laugh suddenly rang out and spread out. The laughter easily drowned out the voices of the Chiu clan's elders. A few of the Chiu clan's elders who were about to invite Duan Lingtian and Chiu Mu-ching to the main hall stopped in their tracks when they heard Chiu Gang-yi's words. For a moment, everyone's attention was on the person who had laughed loudly. The person who had laughed was none other than Duan Lingtian, who was standing next to Chiu Mu-ching. "What are you laughing at?" Chiu Gang-yi asked coldly. His expression darkened when he saw Duan Lingtian bursting out in laughter. His voice faintly drowned out Duan Lingtian's unbridled laughter. Even Chiu Mu-ching looked at Duan Lingtian in confusion. She could not understand why Duan Lingtian was laughing at this moment. Although she had obtained the promise from her father, the clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu and Ping, that the Chiu clan would do its best to protect Duan Lingtian. However, based on the current situation, it was completely different from what she had expected. Chiu Gang-yi and the Chiu clan's elders seemed to want to send Duan Lingtian away to appease the Eastern Fong clan. Moreover, some of the Chiu clan's elders even wanted to send her away. Naturally, she knew it was impossible for her to be sent away. Not only could the Chiu clan not afford to lose face, but even her father would not allow anyone in the Chiu clan to send her away. At this moment, she was more worried about Duan Lingtian's safety. Just when she was worried about Duan Lingtian's safety, she saw Duan Lingtian suddenly burst out laughing. His laughter was unbridled as though he was not afraid of anything. Chiu Mu-ching was puzzled. She did not know why Duan Lingtian could still laugh at such a time. Moreover, he laughed so brazenly. "What are you laughing at?" Duan Lingtian stopped laughing when he heard Chiu Gang-yi's words. He looked at Chiu Gang-yi and the Chiu clan's elders behind Chiu Gang-yi and said, "I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you men for putting the responsibility of protecting the Chiu family on a woman. In my eyes, men like you who rely on women to such an extent are just a bunch of trash, a bunch of trash." Duan Lingtian did not hold back when he spoke. He called Chiu Gang-yi and the Chiu clan's elders trash. Trash? Trash? Even a person made of clay would not be easily swayed, let alone Chiu Gang-yi and the Chiu clan's elders. When they heard Duan Lingtian's humiliating words, they could not help but be stunned for a moment. They looked at each other and wondered if they had heard wrongly. However, they soon realized from each other's angry eyes that they had not misheard. They did not mishear. Duan Lingtian was indeed insulting them. Chiu Gang-yi and the Chiu clan's elders glared at Duan Lingtian coldly. "You're seeking death, brat. Who do you think you are? How dare you humiliate us by calling us trash? I think you're tired of living." At this moment, Chiu Gang-yi was not the only one who was glaring at Duan Lingtian. Even the Chiu clan's elders were glaring at Duan Lingtian fiercely. It was as though they were ready to attack Duan Lingtian at any time to vent their anger. Swoosh! At this moment, Duan Lingtian felt a gust of wind blowing past his eyes. It was Chiu Mu-ching. She had appeared in front of him and shielded him behind her after she heard Duan Lingtian's words. Duan Lingtian's heart was filled with warmth when he saw this. However, when Duan Lingtian looked at Chiu Mu-ching's back and saw Chiu Gang-yi and the others, a hint of disdain could be seen in his eyes. "What's wrong? Are you angry because you're embarrassed?" Duan Lingtian was not afraid when he saw Chiu Gang-yi and the others glaring at him. Instead, he sneered and said, "Or, do you think I'm wrong?" Although Chiu Gang-yi and the others were furious when they heard Duan Lingtian's words, they could not refute him. Even if they did not want to admit it, they could not deny it. Duan Lingtian was telling the truth. "I'm sure all of you can't wait to hand me and Sister Chiu over to the Dong Fong clan." Duan Lingtian suddenly changed the topic and said bluntly, "If that's the case, Sister Chiu and I will cooperate with all of you." Duan. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Chiu Mu-ching immediately turned around. She wanted to stop Duan Lingtian. However, as soon as she spoke, she was interrupted by Duan Lingtian's overbearing voice. Sister Chiu, let's follow them to the Chiu clan's main hall to meet the people from the Dongfang clan. Who knows, maybe the people from the Dongfang clan will be merciful and let us live when we arrive at the Chiu clan's main hall. In the end, a hint of mischief could be heard in Duan Lingtian's tone. Naturally, Chiu Gang-yi and the others did not notice this. Chapter 2074. Let all of you live? Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, and the elders from Chiu clan were stunned when they heard Duan Lingtian's words. They felt the purple-clad young man was too naive. Chiu Muqing was fine. Although Chiu Muqing had offended the Eastern Fang clan, she was the eldest sister of Chiu clan. Moreover, she had the protection of the clan leader of Chiu clan. Even if they wanted to hand her over to the Eastern Fang clan, it was impossible. However, who was this purple-clad young man? Perhaps Chiu Muqing would do her best to protect him. However, it was already good enough that Chiu Muqing was able to protect herself. How could she protect this purple-clad young man? Naive? What a joke! He humiliated the Eastern Fang clan's second young master, Dongfang Zhu, in front of so many people, and he still wants to show mercy to the Eastern Fang clan? Is there something wrong with his head? If he likes to dream, then let him dream on his own. That's right. Moreover, he's willing to meet the Eastern Fang clan in our Chiu clan's main hall anyway. Since he likes to talk, let him do as he pleases. The elders from Chiu clan discussed among themselves. Based on their words, they felt Duan Lingtian was dreaming. However, since Duan Lingtian was willing to meet the Eastern Fang clan in the Chiu clan's main hall, they did not say anything. No matter what, Duan Lingtian was not a member of Chiu clan. Although they were elders from Chiu clan, they had no right to criticize Duan Lingtian. As long as Duan Lingtian did not drag the Chiu clan down, they could not be bothered with Duan Lingtian. Since you're so straightforward, then come with us, Chiu Gang-yi said as he looked at Duan Lingtian mockingly. After he finished speaking, he glared at Duan Lingtian like a tiger eyeing its prey. It was as if as long as Duan Lingtian refused, he would capture Duan Lingtian and bring Duan Lingtian away. The other elders of the Chiu family also looked at Duan Lingtian. They were thinking the same thing as Chiu Gang-yi. As long as the Duan Lingtian was willing to go to the main hall of the Chiu family to meet the people of the Eastern Fang family, and as long as the Chiu family and the Duan Lingtian were not related, they would not be implicated by the Duan Lingtian. And if Duan Lingtian was unwilling to go, the Dongfang family would definitely think that the Chiu family was protecting Duan Lingtian. In that case, the conflict between the Chiu clan and the Dongfang clan would definitely deepen. That was not in their interest, nor was it what they wanted to see. What? Are you worried that I'm just saying that? Duan Lingtian asked nonchalantly when he heard Chiu Gang-yi's words and saw Chiu Gang-yi glaring at him like a tiger looking at its prey. I hope you're not just saying that. Otherwise, I'll bring you there even if I have to. Chiu Gang-yi sneered. You think you can do that? Duan Lingtian laughed when he heard Chiu Gang-yi's words. Under Chiu Gang-yi's furious gaze, he looked at Chiu Muqing and said, Sister Chiu, I don't know the way. Please bring me to the main hall of the Chiu clan. Duan Lingtian's tone changed when he spoke to Chiu Muqing. His tone was gentle and friendly. But Chiu Muqing hesitated when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. Initially, she thought her father could rely on the Chiu clan to protect Duan Lingtian. However, it seemed like Chiu Gang-yi and the elders from the Chiu clan wanted to send Duan Lingtian away. It was as though they were afraid Duan Lingtian would be implicated. Although Chiu Gang-yi did not have all the elders in the Chiu clan, they still made up 50% of the elders in the Chiu clan. With so many elders and Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of the Chiu clan, refusing to protect Duan Lingtian. Even her father, the clan leader of the Chiu clan, could not represent the Chiu clan to protect Duan Lingtian. Don't worry. Duan Lingtian smiled when he saw Chiu Muqing's hesitation. His voice was calm, but it was filled with confidence. Chiu Muqing was affected by his confidence as well. Don't tell me you have a way to prevent the Dongfang clan from doing anything to you? Chiu Muqing could not help but ask Duan Lingtian through voice transmission. This was because until now, she was still in the dark about Duan Lingtian's origin. When she heard the confidence in Duan Lingtian's voice, she immediately thought of Duan Lingtian's background. At the very least, he was not afraid of the Dongfang clan, one of the 3 most powerful clans in Clarity City. You'll find out when the time comes. Duan Lingtian replied to Qiu Muqing through voice transmission. His tone was still confident, but he kept her guessing. Qiu Muqing was even more certain that Duan Lingtian's background was not simple. At the very least, he was strong enough to counterattack the Dongfang clan. Qiu Muqing was relieved when she heard this. She took the lead to leave her independent residence and brought Duan Lingtian to the Qiu clan's main hall. At this moment, she was extremely curious about Duan Lingtian's background. However, she did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so confident. Duan Lingtian's confidence did not come from his background. Instead, it came from his strength. As a third-rate force, the Dongfang clan might be quite strong. However, in Duan Lingtian's eyes, they were nothing. Let's go! When Qiu Gangyi saw Duan Lingtian leaving with Qiu Muqing to the Qiu clan's main hall, he called out to the Qiu clan's elders and brought them along. Humph! Big sister is too willful this time. If it's possible, I really hope the clan will hand her over to the Dongfang clan. That's right. It's fine if she messes around in the past, but she's really too willful this time. How can she be so intimate with a man in front of so many people in Clarity City? Everyone in Clarity City knows she's going to marry the second young master of the Dongfang clan. She's going to enter the Dongfang clan soon. Her actions are no different from giving the Dongfang clan a slap in the face. Now, I only hope that our Qiu clan will hand over the purple-clothed young man to a certain extent to extinguish the anger of the Dongfang clan. As for eldest sister's mistake, our Qiu clan will compensate in other ways. No matter what, we can't let the Dongfang clan fall out with the Qiu clan. I think the Dongfang clan won't fall out with the Qiu clan as long as we're willing to compensate them. After all, the members of the Dongfang clan are clearly aware that they can't go against the Feng clan without our Qiu clan. On the way to the Qiu clan's main hall, the Qiu clan's elders whispered among themselves. Duan Lingtian naturally heard the whispers. He shook his head inwardly. At the same time, Duan Lingtian looked at Qiu Muqing, the eldest daughter of the Qiu clan, with a pitiful expression on his face. He only felt that she was a little pitiful. She was actually used by her family as a tool to maintain the relationship with the Dongfang family. The Qiu clan's main hall is right in front of us. Are you really confident? If you're not, you can leave now. I'll stop them. Qiu Muqing suddenly slowed down and sent a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. At the same time, Duan Lingtian also saw the main hall that stood not far away from him. The main hall looked majestic from afar. It was as though a gigantic beast was crouching there. The door was wide open like the mouth of a gigantic beast. Stop them? Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard Qiu Muqing's voice transmission. Although he had asked Hua Lao to investigate earlier, he found out the group of people led by Qiu Gangyi, the second master of Qiu clan, were not at the Saint Celestial stage or above. Qiu Gangyi, the strongest among them, was only at the peak of the quintessential saint stage. However, with Qiu Muqing's cultivation base at the exemplary saint stage, it was impossible for her to stop Qiu Gangyi and the others. If I threaten to kill myself, I'll kill myself on the spot if anyone dares to chase after you. I'm sure even Qiu Gangyi won't dare to chase after you. He's worried my father won't let him go after I kill myself. Qiu Gangyi said to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission again when he saw the doubt in Duan Lingtian's eyes. Based on his words, it seemed as though he was not afraid of death at all. Although Duan Lingtian knew Qiu Muqing was certain Qiu Gangyi and the others would not dare to chase after him due to her threats, he still felt touched. Warmth rose in Duan Lingtian's heart when he heard Qiu Muqing's words. After all, he had only met Qiu Muqing today. Qiu Muqing only dared to threaten Qiu Gangyi and the others because she was certain Qiu Gangyi and the others would not dare to do anything to her. However, since she was willing to do this for him, it was clear she was a kind girl. She did not want him to be hurt because of her. But, don't you trust me, Sister Qiu? Duan Lingtian replied to Chiu Mu-ching after taking a deep breath. His voice was laced with a hint of mockery. No, I'm not. I'm just a little worried. Since you're so confident, let's go in. I want to see how the Eastern Fong family will react when they realize they don't dare to touch you. Chiu Mu-ching said to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission again. In the end, there was a hint of playfulness in her tone. However, based on her tone, it seemed like she was certain Duan Lingtian was not a simple person. At the very least, the Eastern Fong family would not dare to touch him. When they arrived outside the Chiu clan's main hall, Duan Lingtian saw 3 people walking over from another direction. They were a middle-aged man dressed in luxurious clothes and 2 white-haired old men. Father! At the same time, Chiu Mu-ching's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears. Chiu Mu-ching took a few steps forward to greet the middle-aged man. He's the clan leader of Chiu clan? Duan Lingtian immediately realized the middle-aged man was a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man dressed in luxurious clothes was none other than the clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu Enping. Chiu Enping was a tall and well-built middle-aged man. His face was chiseled, and he had a handsome appearance. One could tell he was a handsome man when he was young. Chapter 2075. Mu-ching. The clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu Enping, smiled when he saw Chiu Mu-ching walking up to him. A doting expression could be seen in his eyes. However, he could not help but sigh inwardly. When he thought of the promise he had made to his daughter earlier, and the fact that he would most likely have to go back on his words, he felt a wave of sadness in his heart. One had to know that he had never disappointed his daughter in her entire life. However, this time, he was going to disappoint his daughter. Grand Elder, Second Elder. When Chiu Mu-ching arrived next to Chiu Enping, she greeted the 2 old men with a smile on her face. The 2 old men were none other than the Grand Elder and Second Elder of Chiu clan. The Grand Elder of Chiu clan was an old man with a medium build. He had an ordinary appearance. When he heard Chiu Mu-ching's greeting, he smiled and nodded. The Second Elder of Chiu clan was slightly taller than the Grand Elder of Chiu clan. He was about the same height as the clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu Enping. He only glanced at Chiu Mu-ching indifferently when she greeted him. Then he said in a slightly displeased tone, Mu-ching, you didn't think twice about what you did today. Chiu Mu-ching fell silent when she heard this. Today, she had held Duan Lingtian's hand in the restaurant and left while holding Duan Lingtian's hand. She had only done so out of desperation. When she thought about it, she was stunned. She felt she had been too bold. After all, although she had a good impression of Duan Lingtian, they had only met for the first time. However, what happened was what happened. To a certain extent, her actions had indeed given the Dongfang clan a resounding slap in the face. For this reason, she did not dare to refute the Second Elder of Chiu clan. Clan leader, Grand Elder, Second Elder. At the same time, Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, walked past Duan Lingtian and arrived in front of Chiu Enping and the others. He took the initiative to greet them. Seeing Chiu Gang-yi, Chiu Enping frowned imperceptibly and then nodded. In the next moment, after Chiu Gang-yi, a group of Chiu family's elders followed and took the initiative to greet Chiu Enping and the other 2. Chiu Gang-yi said, "Everyone else, leave." Seeing so many Chiu family elders gathered together, the Chiu family great elder frowned and said indifferently. Although the Chiu clan's first elder spoke calmly, there was no room for doubt in his tone. It was extremely authoritative. There were 3 Saints Celestial stage powerhouses in the Chiu clan. Among them, the great elder of the Chiu family was the strongest. Therefore, the Chiu clan's elders did not dare to disobey the Chiu clan's first elder. When the Chiu clan's great elder finished speaking, the group of Chiu clan's elders glanced at Chiu Gang-yi and dispersed. Although they all wanted to enter the main hall to join in the fun, they knew that since the Grand Elder had spoken, it was impossible for them to enter the main hall even if they wanted to. However, although they did not have the chance to enter the main hall, they had someone to convey their wishes to the Chiu clan's first elder. Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of the Chiu clan, was the representative of all of them. Chiao Gang-yi was the only one left among the group of people who had gathered together. After a while, Duan Lingtian finally arrived near the clan leader of Chiao clan, Chiao and Ping, the Grand Elder, and the second elder of Chiao clan. "Father, this is the friend I mentioned to you before." Chiao Mu-ching introduced Duan Lingtian to Chiao and Ping when she saw him approaching. Due to the confidence Duan Lingtian had shown earlier, she did not feel too pressured at all. Although she knew her father might not be able to protect Duan Lingtian on behalf of the Chiao clan, she still felt pressured. Clan leader Chiao. Before Chiao and Ping could speak, Duan Lingtian took the initiative to greet him with a smile. "Hello." Naturally, Chiao and Ping smiled in response to Duan Lingtian's polite greeting. Then he asked, "How should I address you?" "Li Feng." Duan Lingtian replied with a smile. Initially, Chiao Mu-ching was taken aback by Duan Lingtian's response. Since Chiao Mu-ching knew Duan Lingtian's real name, she was slightly taken aback when she heard Duan Lingtian's name. However, when she thought about it again, she recalled Duan Lingtian seemed to have something he could not tell her and had asked her not to reveal his name. "So it's Brother Li Feng." Chiao and Ping nodded before he asked, "Brother Li Feng, are you from Clarity City?" "No." Duan Lingtian shook his head. "May I know where Brother Li Feng is from?" Chiao and Ping asked again. A hint of anticipation could be seen in his eyes when he asked this question. This was because he knew that he would not be able to protect this purple-clad young man in front of him today. For this reason, he hoped that the other party had an extraordinary background. In that case, the Dongfang clan would not dare to make a move on him so easily. If that was the case, his daughter would not be disappointed that he could not protect Duan Lingtian. "Clan leader Chiao, I'm a sectless cultivator. The world is my home." Duan Lingtian replied immediately when he heard Chiao and Ping's question. He did not reveal his origin. Sectless cultivator? Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Chiao Gang-yi, the second master of Chiao clan, and the second elder of Chiao clan had a hint of disdain in their eyes. On the other hand, the clan leader of Chiao clan, Chiao and Ping, and the grand elder of Chiao clan had a grave expression on their faces. Chiao and Ping, in particular, had a hint of disappointment in his eyes. As for the eldest daughter of Chiao clan, Chiao Mu-ching, she was stunned for a moment before she felt relieved. She knew Duan Lingtian was only hiding his origin for the time being. He would only reveal his origin when he was in front of the Eastern Fang clan, so the Eastern Fang clan would not dare to act recklessly. If that was not the case, he would not have been so confident earlier. "Senior brother Li Feng, these are the Grand Elder and Second Elder of Chiao clan," Chiao and Ping said. He broke the silence and introduced the Grand Elder and Second Elder of Chiao clan to Duan Lingtian. "Greetings, seniors." Duan Lingtian immediately greeted the two old men in a refined and courteous manner. The Grand Elder of Chiao clan nodded slightly in response to Duan Lingtian. As for the second elder of Chiao clan, he only glanced at Duan Lingtian casually from the beginning until the end. He pretended not to hear Duan Lingtian's greeting. It seemed like he had no intention of responding to Duan Lingtian at all. Duan Lingtian, on the other hand, remained calm. He had seen a lot of people who looked down on others ever since he came from the mortal continent. Therefore, he had become indifferent to them. "Clan leader, Grand Elder, Second Elder. It's time for us to enter. If we keep the clan leader and the two elders of the Eastern Fang clan waiting for too long, it'll seem like the Chiao clan isn't treating our guests well." Chiao Gang-yi's voice suddenly entered Duan Lingtian's ears. It sounded like he was reminding Chiao and Ping and the other two old men, but there was a hint of schadenfreude in his voice as well. Naturally, the schadenfreude was directed at Duan Lingtian. With Chiao Gang-yi's reminder, the clan leader of Chiao clan, Chiao and Ping, the Grand Elder, and the second elder of Chiao clan took the lead and made their way to the Chiao clan's main hall. Duan Lingtian and Chiao Mu-ching walked side by side as they followed the three old men. As for Chiao Gang-yi, he walked at the back of the group as though he was afraid Duan Lingtian would run away at a critical moment. When they entered the Chiao clan's main hall, Duan Lingtian saw everything in the Chiao clan's main hall. The Chiao clan's main hall was extremely spacious. Although the decorations were simple, they did not lose their grandeur. Father, it's him. It's him. Duan Lingtian was still observing the Chiu clan's main hall when an exasperated voice rang in his ears. The voice sounded familiar as though he had heard it somewhere before. Duan Lingtian's attention was instantly attracted by the owner of the voice. With just a glance, he saw Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, whom he had taught a lesson in the restaurant in Clarity City. At this moment, Dongfang Zhu was standing next to a middle-aged man. He was pointing at the middle-aged man as he spoke in an exasperated manner. Based on how Dongfang Zhu addressed the middle-aged man, it was obvious who the middle-aged man was. The middle-aged man was none other than the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan, Dongfang Gan. When Dongfang Gan heard Dongfang Zhu's words, he turned to look at Duan Lingtian coldly. For a moment, Duan Lingtian felt as though he was being stared at by a venomous snake. However, Duan Lingtian merely glanced at Dongfang Gan indifferently before he shifted his attention to the two old men standing next to Dongfang Gan. These two old men were standing next to Dongfang Gan. It was obvious they had a high status in the Eastern Fang clan. Could they be the Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Eastern Fang clan? Earlier, when he was still in Chiu Muqing's independent mansion, he had heard an elder from the Chiu clan say, "The Eastern Fang clan's people are from the Eastern Fang clan." Apart from the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan and his son, there were also the Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Eastern Fang clan. In the entire Eastern Fang clan, only these two old men were qualified to stand next to the clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan. Apart from Dongfang Gan, these two old men were the other two Saint Celestial stage powerhouses in the Eastern Fang clan. Similar to the Chiu clan, the Eastern Fang clan had three Saint Celestial stage powerhouses each. They were the clan leader, the Grand Elder, and the Second Elder. As for the two old men standing behind Dongfang Gan and the others, Duan Lingtian merely glanced at them indifferently and did not pay them any attention. It could be seen that their positions in the Dongfang family were ordinary. They should be ordinary elders. Clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan. At the same time, the clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu and Ping, and the Grand Elder and Second Elder of Chiu clan walked side by side toward Dongfang Gan and the others. The Grand Elder and Second Elder of Chiu clan who were standing next to him also greeted the Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Eastern Fang clan. Slut. Slut. When Dongfang Zhu saw Duan Lingtian and Chiu Muqing standing next to each other, he was so angry that his eyes turned red. He cursed inwardly. Chapter 2076. Clan Leader Chiu, you have a good daughter. Dongfang Gan, the clan leader of the Eastern Fang family, mocked Chiu and Ping when he saw the clan leader of Chiu clan greeting him warmly. He was not polite at all. He had brought his men here to denounce Chiu and Ping. Naturally, it was impossible for him to be polite to Chiu and Ping. If he were to be polite at this moment, it would be equivalent to giving away the initiative. It would be difficult for him to obtain more benefits. As the clan leader of the Eastern Fang family, Dongfang Gan knew this very well. Humph. The Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Eastern Fang family snorted coldly when they were greeted by the Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Chiu clan. They did not even bother to look at the two of them. It was as though the two of them owed them money. The expressions of the Grand Elder and Second Elder of the Eastern Fang family darkened when they saw this. However, although their expressions were ugly, it was not good for them to flare up. After all, in their opinion, the Eastern Fang family was in the right, and the Chiu clan was in the wrong. Clan leader of the Eastern Fang family, what do you mean by that? The smile on Chiu and Ping's face disappeared when he heard Dongfang Gan's words. As the clan leader of the Chiu clan, he could be polite to Dongfang Gan for the sake of the Chiu clan. However, Dongfang Gan was now his daughter, and his daughter was more important to him as a father than his own life. For this reason, he could not accept anyone else talking about his daughter. He could do anything but not his daughter. Because of this, Chiu Anping's tone was completely gloomy when he spoke again. At the same time, it caused the atmosphere in the hall to be filled with a strong smell of gunpowder. A conflict could break out at any moment. What do I mean? Dongfang Gan sneered when he saw Chiu and Ping's expression had darkened. Chiu and Ping, don't you know what I mean? Don't tell me that you have no idea what your precious daughter has done today. In the end, Dong Fanggan shifted his gaze to Chiu Muqing, who was standing next to Duan Ling Tian. His eyes gleamed coldly as though he was about to devour someone. Patriarch. At this moment, Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, said to Chiu Enping, "Indeed, the Chiu clan is in the wrong. I know you feel sorry for eldest sister, but eldest sister has gone too far this time." Chiu Enping didn't expect that Chiu Gang-yi would step in at this time. For a moment, his face became increasingly gloomy. Even the great elder of the Chiu clan was frowning. He felt that Chiu Gang-yi had gone too far. Only the second elder of the Chiu family didn't react. It was as if Chiu Gang-yi's words were not inappropriate. Is Chiu Gang-yi really from the Chiu clan? Duan Ling Tian narrowed his eyes when he looked at Chiu Gang-yi again. He felt Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, did not look like a member of the Chiu clan. Instead, he looked more like a member of the Dongfang clan. At this time, it was fine if the people from the Eastern Fang family were gossiping. After all, they were on different sides. However, as a member of the Chiu clan, not only did Chiu Gang-yi not help the Chiu clan, but he even helped the Dongfang family. Although Duan Ling Tian was an outsider to the Chiu clan, he felt Chiu Gang-yi's words were ill-considered. What a lousy teammate. You're right, second master of Chiu clan. When Dong Fanggan heard Chiu Gang-yi's words, he took advantage of the situation. He looked at Chiu Enping and sneered, "It's only because the second master of Chiu clan is less talented than you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be the one sitting in the clan leader's seat today." Dong Fanggan's words raised Chiu Gang-yi's status and belittled Chiu Enping's status. Chiu Enping's expression darkened when he heard this. Haha. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian finally burst out laughing. It was as though he had heard the funniest joke in the world. "What are you laughing at?" Dong Fanggan asked coldly as he looked at Duan Ling Tian with killing intent in his eyes. His voice was not loud, but it was filled with saint origin. It drowned out Duan Ling Tian's laughter and clearly entered everyone's ears. If they were not in the Chiu clan's main hall, he would have killed this person who humiliated his son. "I'm laughing at your whimsical imagination." Duan Ling Tian stopped laughing. Facing Dong Fanggan's snake-like gaze, he was not afraid at all. He said sarcastically, "Chiu Gang-yi is nothing but an ungrateful wretch. No matter how talented a person like him is, once he becomes the clan leader of Chiu clan, he's destined to lead the Chiu clan into decline. Fortunately, he didn't become the clan leader of Chiu clan. Otherwise, the Chiu clan would be under the Feng clan by now. As for your Eastern Fang clan, you'd better not be annihilated by the Chiu clan and the Feng clan." In the end, Duan Ling Tian became more and more unscrupulous. He said Chiu Gang-yi was an ungrateful wretch. If Chiu Gang-yi became the clan leader of Chiu clan, he would have surrendered to the Feng clan and led the Chiu clan to become the Feng clan's pawn. Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, everyone was stunned. Whether it was the clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu Enping, or the grand elder and second elder of Chiu clan, all of them looked at Duan Ling Tian in shock. It was as though Duan Ling Tian's words had touched a chord in their hearts. In the past, Chiu Gang-yi had indeed suggested that the Chiu clan surrender to the Feng clan and join forces with the Feng clan to annihilate the Eastern Fang clan. He also thought that even if the Feng clan became the dominant clan, the Chiu clan would still be able to get a share of the pie. However, they rejected his suggestion in the end. "Li Feng, you're seeking death." Chiu Gang-yi could not suppress his anger when he heard Duan Ling Tian's mocking words. As he roared furiously, the saint energy in his body stirred and was about to burst out. "What's wrong? Are you angry because I've guessed what you're thinking?" Duan Ling Tian shifted his gaze from Dong Fanggan to Chiu Gang-yi. He could not help but mock Chiu Gang-yi. Chiu Gang-yi grew even angrier. It seemed like he was on the verge of breaking down. It was not hard to imagine. If Chiu Gang-yi's emotions were to crumble, he would not hesitate to attack Duan Ling Tian as soon as he could. "How dare you!" At this moment, a loud roar resounded, echoing continuously in the Chiu family's main hall, lingering in the air. The person who shouted was none other than the second elder of the Chiu clan. The second elder of the Chiu clan looked at Duan Lingtian and said coldly, "Li Feng, you're just a sectless cultivator. What right do you have to shout and humiliate the Chiu clan's main hall?" A sectless cultivator. The clan leader of the Eastern Fang clan, Dong Fanggan, brightened when he heard the second elder of the Chiu clan's words. When they were on their way to the Chiu clan, they had been worried that the purple-clad young man who had humiliated Dong Fangzhu had an extraordinary background. If the purple-clad young man had a force that the Eastern Fang clan could not afford to offend, they would not be able to do anything to him no matter how angry they were. Unless they did not care about the safety of the Eastern Fang clan. However, when they heard the second elder of the Chiu clan said the purple-clad young man was just a sectless cultivator, they were relieved. In their opinion, they did not need to worry about a sectless cultivator. Humiliate the Chiu clan? Duan Lingtian looked at the second elder of Chiu clan and said coldly, "Senior, as the second elder of Chiu clan, do you think Chiu Gang did the right thing by undermining the Chiu clan's prestige and boosting the Dongfang clan's morale?" Moreover, the clan leader and the grand elder of the Chiu clan did not say anything. "Don't you think it's inappropriate for a mere second elder to say something?" Duan Lingtian questioned the second elder of the Chiu clan after he finished speaking. "You." The second elder of the Chiu clan was livid when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. However, he did not know how to refute Duan Lingtian's words. How could he refute Duan Lingtian's words? Should he admit that Chiu Gang-yi did the right thing? Should he say that he did not overstep his authority? The second elder of the Chiu clan was one of the 3 Saints Celestial Stage powerhouses in the Chiu clan. He was the only one among the 3 Saints Celestial Stage powerhouses in the Chiu clan who agreed to force the eldest daughter of the Chiu clan, Chiu Muqing, to marry into the Eastern Fang clan. Duan Lingtian had learned about this from Chiu Muqing before he entered the Chiu clan's main hall. For this reason, Duan Lingtian did not have a good impression of the second elder of the Chiu clan. It would have been fine if the second elder of the Chiu clan did not speak up. However, now that the second elder of the Chiu clan had spoken up and targeted him, there was no reason for Duan Lingtian to hold back. "Clan leader, grand elder. I'm just stating the facts. I have no intention of diminishing the prestige of the Chiu clan to boost the morale of the Chiu clan." Chiu Gang-yi's expression changed drastically when he was accused by Duan Lingtian. He hastily looked at the clan leader and grand elder of the Chiu clan as he tried to defend himself. It was as though he was afraid he would infuriate the clan leader and grand elder if he was too slow. At this moment, Dong Fanggan, who had remained silent for a long time, suddenly chuckled. He had a mocking expression on his face as he said, "It seems like the Chiu clan has really declined. I can't believe a sectless cultivator dares to cause a ruckus in the Chiu clan's main hall. If this was the Eastern Fang clan, a sectless cultivator like this would have died a few hundred times already." Dong Fanggan's eyes were filled with killing intent and disdain when he looked at Duan Lingtian. "Is that so?" Duan Lingtian met his gaze without the slightest bit of fear as he sneered and replied with a question. "Clan leader of Chiu clan." Duan Lingtian's fearless gaze further infuriated Dong Fanggan. Dong Fanggan's expression darkened as he looked at Chiu and Ping, the clan leader of Chiu clan. "As long as you hand this sectless cultivator over to me and let me take him away from the Chiu clan, the Eastern Fang clan will let bygones be bygones." Chapter 2077. The meaning behind Dong Fanggan's words was very simple. As long as the Chiu clan handed Duan Lingtian over to the Dong Fang clan, the Dong Fang clan would not pursue the matter. In fact, they would even join forces with the Chiu clan to fight against the strongest clan in Clarity City, the Feng clan. To the majority of the Chiu family members, this was definitely a profitable deal. After all, the purple-clad young man who called himself Li Feng was only a sectless cultivator. He was not a member of the Chiu clan. As long as the Chiu clan handed Li Feng over to the Dong Fang clan, the Dong Fang clan would not pursue the matter any further. "Clan leader." As soon as Dong Fanggan finished speaking, Chiu Gang-yi, the second master of Chiu clan, looked at the clan leader of Chiu clan, Chiu and Ping, with an eager expression on his face as he said, "Li Feng is not a member of the Chiu clan." There's no need to drag the Chiu clan down for an outsider like him. As long as we hand Li Feng over, not only will our eldest sister not have to marry into the Dongfang clan, but the Dongfang clan will not pursue the matter any further. To the Chiu clan, to Big Sister, and even to you, the clan leader, this is a business that will only benefit us. Chiu Gangyi's voice was filled with excitement. At this moment, he wished he was the clan leader of Chiu clan so he could agree to Dongfang Gan's condition. In his opinion, this condition was too tempting. Not only would it resolve the matter today, but it would also resolve the conflict between the Chiu clan and the Dongfang clan. This was a win-win situation for the Chiu clan. At the same time, Chiu and Ping could not help but frown. Even if he did not want to admit it, he had to admit Dongfang Gan had made a concession when he proposed this condition. It was very tempting to him. If he cooperated, just like Chiu Gangyi said, it would be a win-win situation. However, when Chiu and Ping thought about how Li Feng was his daughter's friend, he could not help but feel conflicted. He looked at Chiu Muqing with a complicated expression on his face. Father. Chiu Muqing, naturally, knew what her father was thinking when she saw him looking at her. Without any hesitation, she immediately stated, although my actions today are somewhat abrupt, that is only relative to big brother Li Feng. As for the Dongfang clan, I don't think my actions have anything to do with the Dongfang clan. From the beginning until the end, I've never agreed to the engagement with Dongfang Zhu. In other words, what does my actions have to do with the Dongfang clan? Dongfang clan has no right to threaten the Chiu clan. Chiu and Ping clan's clan leader, Chiu and Ping's clan, no matter what she did. Chiu and Ping clans Chiu and Ping Chiu and Fang Chiu clan, Chiu Muqing. At this moment, Dongfang Zhu, the second young master of Dongfang clan, could not help but growl. Currently, everyone in Clarity City knows that your Chiu clan and my Dongfang clan are going to unite by marriage. Moreover, you and I are the representatives of both parties. In the eyes of the people in Clarity City, it's only a matter of time before you marry into the Dongfang clan. For this reason, your actions today have made the Dongfang clan the laughingstock of Clarity City. How dare you say your actions have nothing to do with the Dongfang clan? In the end, Dongfang Zhu became somewhat hysterical. He was practically roaring at the top of his voice. Who else can you blame? If it wasn't for the Dongfang clan's wishful thinking and spreading the news, the people in Clarity City wouldn't have misunderstood us. Chiu Muqing said calmly. Wishful thinking? Chiu Muqing's words were like a thorn in Dongfang Zhu's heart, causing his face to turn pale. Now that he thought about it, Chiu Muqing was indeed his wishful thinking. Wishful thinking? When Dongfang Qian, the clan leader of Dongfang clan, heard Chiu Muqing's words, his expression darkened immediately. He looked at the second elder of Chiu clan and said in a deep voice, Elder Chiu Ji, if I'm not mistaken, you personally agreed to the marriage between our Dongfang clan and your Chiu clan, right? It seems like your words don't count in the Chiu clan even though you're the second elder of the Chiu clan. If that's the case, then why did you agree to the marriage between our two families? Dongfang Qian's voice turned colder as he spoke. At the same time, he told everyone one thing. The marriage between the Chiu clan and the Dongfang clan was arranged by Chiu Ji, the second elder of Chiu clan. Chiu Muqing looked at Chiu Ji in disbelief when she heard Dongfang Qian's words. She said agitatedly, Second elder? What right do you have to decide my marriage? All this while, Chiu Muqing had thought Chiu Gangyi, the second master of Chiu clan, had led a group of elders to pressure her father into marrying Dongfang Zhu so the Chiu clan and the Dongfang clan could form a marriage alliance. From the beginning until the end, even though the people in Clarity City had spread the news of the marriage alliance between the Chiu clan and the Dongfang clan, she had thought the Dongfang clan was the only one who spread the news. She did not expect Chiu Ji, the second elder of Chiu clan, would agree to the marriage alliance on behalf of the Chiu clan. As for her, she had been kept in the dark until just a moment ago. Father! Chiu Muqing looked at her father, Chiu and Ping, the clan leader of Chiu clan, as though she had just recalled something. When she looked at Chiu and Ping, a hint of uneasiness could be seen in the depths of her eyes. She could only hope her father did not know about this. Otherwise, she felt there was no one she could trust in this world. Qiu Ji. Qiu Muqing sighed in relief when she saw Qiu Enping's expression had changed drastically. At the very least, she was certain her father did not know about this. As the clan leader of Qiu clan, Qiu Enping was indeed unaware of this. When he heard Dong Fangqian's words, he looked at Qiu Ji angrily and roared, "What right do you have to decide my daughter's marriage? Moreover, he decided on my daughter's marriage without me, her father, knowing anything about it." Even the grand elder of Qiu clan frowned when he heard this. He had just found out about this as well. Even he could not stand the second elder of Qiu clan taking matters into his own hands. "What right do I have to decide your marriage?" Qiu Ji looked at Qiu Muqing and said indifferently, "You're a member of the Qiu clan, and I'm the second elder of Qiu clan. For the sake of the family, why can't you sacrifice me for the sake of the family? As for you..." Qiu Ji looked at Qiu Enping and said indifferently, "If I had told you about this beforehand, would you have agreed to my request? Moreover, your daughter won't be at a disadvantage if she marries into the Dongfang clan. Moreover, your position as the clan leader will be even more secure. Otherwise, who knows when the Qiu clan will be destroyed by the Feng clan? At that time, you won't even be able to be the clan leader." Qiu Ji seemed to be concerned about Qiu Enping when he spoke. "Do you think I want to be the clan leader?" Qiu Enping laughed when he heard Qiu Ji's words. "In my eyes, the position of the clan leader is nothing compared to my daughter. Qiu Ji, you don't have the right to decide my daughter's marriage." "Humph." Qiu Ji snorted coldly and continued, "Now, even if I want to decide on your daughter's marriage, the Dongfang family won't let her marry into our family. I really don't know how you, Qiu Enping, raised your daughter to be so fickle, shameless, and dissolute. You're seeking death." Qiu Enping was enraged when he heard Qiu Ji insulted his daughter. Saint Origin surged out of his body as he attacked Qiu Ji at lightning speed. Although he and Qiu Ji were both powerhouses at the first form of the Saint Celestial stage, there was a huge difference in their strength. Bang! After the span of a breath, a loud noise rang in the air as Qiu Enping was sent flying by Qiu Ji's punch. Barf! Barf! When Qiu Enping was sent flying by Qiu Ji's punch, he threw up a mouthful of blood before he crashed heavily on the ground. "Father!" At this moment, Qiu Muqing finally regained her senses. She cried out worriedly before she flew to Qiu Enping's side and helped him up. At the same time, a hint of hatred could be seen in Qiu Muqing's eyes when she looked at Qiu Ji. "Qiu Ji!" Duan Ling Tian's expression darkened. Just as he was about to make a move, a furious voice rang in the air. It slowed down the Sun Saint energy in Duan Ling Tian's body. The voice belonged to the Grand Elder of Qiu clan. He was looking at Qiu Ji coldly. "Grand Elder?" Qiu Ji's expression changed when he saw the Grand Elder of Qiu clan looking at him. Although he was much stronger than Qiu Enping, the clan leader of Qiu clan, he was still inferior to the Grand Elder of Qiu clan. Although both of them were powerhouses at the first form of the Saint Celestial stage, Duan Ling Tian was stronger than Qiu Enping and the Grand Elder of Qiu clan. Duan Ling Tian's strength was above average among powerhouses at the first form of the Saint Celestial stage. "Grand Elder, from the beginning until the end I, Qiu Ji, have done everything for the sake of the clan. If you think I'm in the wrong, you can kill me," Qiu Ji suddenly said to the Grand Elder of Qiu clan with a solemn expression on his face. His retreat in order to advance move made the Qiu clan's Grand Elder hesitate. As the Grand Elder of Qiu clan, it was only natural that he wanted the clan to prosper in the future. Thinking about it, although what Qiu Ji did was a little too much, from the perspective of the family's interests, it was understandable. What a good excuse. Duan Ling Tian took a step forward and looked at Qiu Ji with a mocking smile on his face. Chapter 2078. When Duan Ling Tian saw Qiu Ji, the second elder of Qiu clan, injuring Qiu Enping, the clan leader of Qiu clan, he had already planned to make a move. However, he did not make a move because the Grand Elder of Qiu clan had spoken. Now that he saw the Grand Elder of Qiu clan had no intention of making a move on Qiu Ji, he could not help but sneer. Sister Chiu has her own thoughts. Moreover, her father is still alive. Even if her marriage is to be decided, it's her father's business. It's not up to a shameless and disrespectful old fart like you to decide, right? Duan Lingtian did not hold back as soon as he spoke. Not only did he scold Qiu Ji for being shameless and disrespectful, but he even called Qiu Ji an old fart. Li Feng, you're seeking death. Qiu Ji's expression changed when he heard Duan Lingtian's merciless words. He glared at Duan Lingtian angrily as he roared. The saint origin in his body began to surge and spread to the surface of his body. He was about to make a move on Duan Lingtian. Qiu Ji did not expect this at all. A mere sectless cultivator dared to scold him in front of so many people. Moreover, Qiu Ji did not hold back at all. At this moment he was completely enraged. Li Feng, who do you think you are? How dare you be disrespectful to the second elder? Today, I'll teach you a lesson and teach you how to behave. After that, I'll hand you over to the Dong Fang clan's clan leader. Just as Qiu Ji was about to make a move, a furious and cold roar resonated in the air. It was Qiu Gang Yi, the second master of Qiu clan. At the same time, it was as though he had transformed into an arrow that had left the bow as he charged toward Duan Lingtian at lightning speed. His speed was terrifyingly fast. Saint energy at the peak of the quintessential saint stage continued to surge out of Qiu Gang Yi's body. It was vast and majestic, setting off gusts of wind that swept out in all directions. Many people's robes fluttered noisily. In just a blink of an eye, Qiu Gang Yi, who was charging toward Duan Lingtian, arrived. Devour! As soon as Qiu Gang Yi charged toward Duan Lingtian quickly mobilized the Sun Saint energy in his body. The Sun Saint energy surged out of his body through his 99 saint veins in just a blink of an eye and formed a faint whirlpool on his body. The vortex was turbulent, as if it could swallow everything. It was the divine ability, devouring technique. After Duan Lingtian used the devouring technique, the heaven and earth spirit qi in the main hall of the Qiu family rushed into his body at a terrifying speed and mixed with the Sun Saint force in his body. Then, they fused and improved at an exaggerated speed. When Qiu Gang Yi was only a few meters away from Duan Lingtian, the Sun Saint power in Duan Lingtian's body had reached its peak. It was comparable to the mastery quintessential saint stage's saint energy. Almost at the same time, Duan Lingtian's gaze turned cold and filled with killing intent. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian did not make any move, but the sound of a sword whistling in the air rang in the air. It sounded like the sound of a ghost appearing and disappearing. In the blink of an eye, it sounded and stopped abruptly. It was as though it had never appeared. At this moment, the main hall fell silent. Under the watchful eyes of the others, Qiu Gang Yi, who was only a few meters away from Duan Lingtian, was sent flying by the momentum of his charge. When Duan Lingtian dodged, a circular bloody wound appeared on Qiu Gang Yi's neck. The bloody wound continued to expand at an extremely fast speed. Flash, flash, flash. As the sound of water splashing reverberated in the air, blood splattered out of Qiu Gang Yi's neck. Then, Qiu Gang Yi's head was separated from his body from his neck. Blood splattered everywhere as the two halves of his body slammed into the wall of the main hall. Blood splattered everywhere as though it had opened up a bloody path. It was dazzling and eye-catching. At the same time, Qiu Gang Yi's body that had been severed into two was no longer breathing. He could not be any more dead. Time seemed to have stopped at this moment. The entire scene was deathly silent. In the main hall, apart from Duan Lingtian and Qiu Gang Yi who had been killed, everyone was looking at Qiu Gang Yi's body that had been severed into two. In their eyes, other than fear, there was also a mixture of shock and disbelief. They did not expect this to happen even in their wildest dreams. Gasp, gasp, gasp. After a while, everyone present on the scene gasped when they regained their senses. The shock on their faces did not disappear for a long time. Even the 6 Saint Celestial stage powerhouses present on the scene were no exception. Following that, the 6 Saint Celestial stage powerhouses turned to look at Duan Lingtian one after another. At this moment, their gazes were completely different from before. He's so strong? Chiao Mu-ching stared at Duan Lingtian in shock and disbelief. She felt as though she was dreaming. Everything that was happening before her eyes was too surreal. From the moment she saw this purple-clad young man, she had thought he was extraordinary. She did not expect him to be so strong. He did not even make a move, but he had killed Chiao Gang-yi, the second master of Chiao clan. After all, Chiao Gang-yi was a powerhouse at the peak of the quintessential saint stage. Since this purple-clad young man was able to kill Chiao Gang-yi, it meant he was a saint celestial stage powerhouse just like her father. No. Impossible. Impossible. Chiao Mu-ching felt as though she was dreaming. Dong Fangzhu, the second young master of the Eastern Fang clan, was also looking at Duan Lingtian. How could he not feel like he was dreaming as well? He raised his hand and slapped himself in the face. Then he pinched his thigh. The pain on his face and leg reminded him that he was not dreaming. He wasn't dreaming. Everything that was happening before his eyes was real. This purple-clad young man who had taught him a lesson in the restaurant and caused him to hate him to the bone was indeed a saint celestial stage powerhouse. So what if he's a saint celestial stage powerhouse? My father and the two elders of the Eastern Fang clan are also saint celestial stage powerhouses. Dong Fangzhu thought about his father and the grand elder and second elder of the Eastern Fang clan. He felt much more confident. At the same time, under the watchful eyes of the others, Duan Lingtian slowly walked toward Chiao Ji, the second elder of Chiao clan. However, with every step he took, it felt as though he was stepping on Chiao Ji's chest. Horror dawned on Chiao Ji's face. In the end, Chiao Ji was on the verge of breaking down. At this moment, apart from Chiao Ji himself, only the other 5 people who were at the Saint Celestial stage like him could sense the changes in his emotions. They were the only ones who could sense how terrifying Duan Lingtian's attack was. When Duan Lingtian was halfway to Chiao Ji finally broke down. Chiao Ji could no longer endure the torment in his heart and broke down completely. Bang! At the same time, Chiao Ji, who had completely broken down, moved and fell to his knees. A loud sound rang in the air when his knees hit the ground. Bang! 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 In the next moment, a series of loud sounds rang in the air. Chiao Ji, who was kneeling on the ground, kept kowtowing to Duan Lingtian. He kowtowed again and again until his head was bleeding. However, it was as though he did not feel anything. He kept kowtowing as though he could not feel any pain or exhaustion. Many people were dumbfounded by this scene. Chiao Mu-ching, Dong Fangzhu, and the 2 ordinary elders of the Eastern Fang clan were dumbfounded by this scene. After all, they could not compare to the other 5 Saint Celestial stage powerhouses. Although they had seen Duan Lingtian kill Chiao Gang-yi, the second master of Chiao clan, they thought he was just an ordinary Saint Celestial stage powerhouse. He did not realize that Duan Lingtian was not an ordinary Saint Celestial stage powerhouse. His strength far surpassed the 6 Saint Celestial stage powerhouses present on the scene. The 6 Saint Celestial stage powerhouses, including the second elder of Chiao clan, Chiao Ji, who was kneeling on the ground and kowtowing to Duan Lingtian, could sense something from the sword strike Duan Lingtian had executed earlier. Based on Duan Lingtian's cultivation base, it was likely that he was not only at the second form of the Saint Celestial stage, he was at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage. In Clarity City, there were no powerhouses at the second form of the Saint Celestial stage, let alone the third form of the Saint Celestial stage. For this reason, the 6 Saint Celestial stage powerhouses present on the scene were terrified when they saw Duan Lingtian. This was especially true for Chiao Ji, the second elder of Chiao clan, who had wanted to attack Duan Lingtian earlier. When he saw Duan Lingtian's strength and saw Duan Lingtian walking toward him, he broke down in fear. After he broke down, he immediately knelt and kowtowed to Duan Lingtian in an attempt to appease Duan Lingtian's anger. Duan Lingtian could kill him as easily as killing a chicken. Sir, please spare my life. Please spare my life. Please spare my life. Chiao Ji finally mustered up his courage and begged Duan Lingtian for mercy after kowtowing more than 100 times. Chiao Mu-ching, Dong Fangzhu, and the two ordinary elders from the Eastern Fang clan who were standing nearby were stunned by Qiu Zhi's humble attitude. Was the old man kneeling on the ground really the second elder of Qiu clan? The arrogant second elder of Qiu clan actually had such a side to him? Qiu Muqing and the others could not understand Qiu Zhi's current state of mind. They were stunned for a long time before they regained their senses. If I'm not mistaken, Duan Lington, who had stopped moving when Qiu Zhi knelt on the ground and looked at Qiu Zhi coldly, finally spoke when Qiu Zhi begged for mercy. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.